Chapter 2144. Night Sorrow circulated his leakless true body to the extreme. He didn't even breathe as he slowly approached the area where Lu Xing was. He was catching a big fish this time. If he could kill Lu Xing, he would be able to take down the entire legion. As he approached, Night Sorrow felt a little nervous. This was the first time Night Sorrow had ambushed a great expert like the Tribulation of 5 Emperors. He had never thought of it before. Lu Xing thought about where the uneasiness came from. He stood up and looked at the Legion's campsite. When he didn't find anything amiss, he sat down again. He was now looking forward to Night Sorrow's arrival. That way, the 2 Tribulation of 5 Emperors cultivators could block Night Sorrow and kill him. In addition, Lu Xing was certain that Night Sorrow was definitely an important figure in the celestial realm. It was already very impressive that he had reached the Tribulation of 3 Emperors at such a young age. His combat strength was also ridiculously strong. He had never seen these 2 attributes before, but he understood that they were much more high-end than the attributes he knew. While Lu Xing was thinking, Night Sorrow was getting closer and closer to Lu Xing's location. Night Sorrow held the Bloodchilan Evil Vanquishing Spear as he thought about his moves and routines. He wanted to end this battle as quickly as possible. If he gave Lu Xing a chance to resist and let him last until the other Legion commanders arrived, he wouldn't have a chance and would be in danger. After deciding on the order in which he would use his absolute art, Night Sorrow was very close to the meteor. Night Sorrow poured the Samsara energy into the Bloodchilan Evil Vanquishing Spear and used the Samsara True Dragon art. At the same time, he waved his left hand and cut open space. There was no gap between the 2 moves. After arriving in the real world, Night Sorrow's Samsara True Dragon art instantly attacked Lu Xing. The attack appeared very suddenly. Under Lu Xing's surprised gaze, Night Sorrow's Merit Samsara Dao domain pressed down. Night Sorrow wasn't willing to use the power of merit to augment his combat strength to bully the weak and kill, but he didn't have such concerns when fighting someone of a higher level. Lu Xing hurriedly cast his Dao domain defense, but it was instantly suppressed by Night Sorrow's Merit Dao domain. At that moment, Night Sorrow's True Dragon Destruction art arrived in front of him. "How dare you, scoundrel!" Lu Xing was infuriated. He had actually become the target of a Tribulation of 3 Sovereigns cultivator. This was a humiliation to him, but what he needed to resolve now was a crisis. Night Sorrow's Dao domain was extremely powerful. It completely enveloped him, rendering his Dao domain ineffective. In addition, Night Sorrow's Bloodchilan Evil Slaying Spear contained an illusory energy that made him feel extremely threatened. At the same time that Meteor brandished his saber, Night Sorrow also released his Soul Extinguishing Slash. At this time, he was going all out. FW. As the 2 weapons approached, Night Sorrow's body moved a small step. The Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear avoided Meteor's saber and continued to stab forward. Night Sorrow wouldn't give Meteor a chance to clash head-on. That would result in a stalemate, which would cause him to lose time and opportunities. The corner of Meteor's eyes twitched. The current situation wasn't good for him. Night Sorrow's weapon was a little off, but the attack would definitely severely injure him. If his saber slashed Night Sorrow, it would at most injure Night Sorrow. After analyzing the situation, Meteor sheathed his saber and slashed at Night Sorrow's Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear. However, at that moment, Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash arrived. The purple crescent blade, which was half a person's height, slashed at Meteor's body. Block. Meteor's body trembled. His soul power protected his body as he blocked Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash attack. As a 5 Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Meteor naturally knew what kind of attack Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash was. Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash was blocked by Meteor's soul power. However, the negative illusions rushed into Meteor's spirit sea, causing his saber to slow down by half a beat. The saber that blocked Night Sorrow's Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear didn't have much strength. Night Sorrow's Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear directly shook it away. Then the Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear pierced Meteor's chest. Night Sorrow's Forbidden Reincarnation energy rushed into Meteor's body through the Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear. It started to shake and destroy. Meteor, who had been attacked, woke up. He reached out his left hand and grabbed Night Sorrow's Bloodchilan Execution Evil Spear. He was about to pull it out of his body. Night Sorrow wouldn't give him the chance. He reached out his empty left hand and grabbed Meteor's left wrist. Then he pulled hard, pulling the two bodies closer. The blood-Chilan execution evil spear directly pierced Meteor's body. Then it kept shaking and destroying Meteor's body. Help! Meteor cried for help. At this time his Legion commanders also noticed the situation and flew over. Help! Go die! Night Sorrow roared. The virtuous immortal body's energy moved to his left hand, and he twisted it. With a cracking sound, Meteor's wrist was broken by Night Sorrow. He didn't specialize in cultivating his body. The difference between his strength and Night Sorrow's was too big. After breaking Meteor's left wrist, Night Sorrow's left hand reached out again, and grabbed the saber that Meteor was slashing at his neck. Then he used Void Steps. The blood-Chilan execution evil spear pierced through Meteor, and began to fly. He had to run now. He had to avoid Meteor's reinforcements while continuing to destroy Meteor's body. Night Sorrow's speed was about the same as the Legion commanders under Meteor's command. He still had a chance to continue destroying Meteor's body. While escaping, Yishang had chosen a route that led to the God-slaying team's encampment. Now that Lu Xing had been dealt with, Yishang was no longer afraid of the tribulation of three emperors' cultivators under Lu Xing's command. Yishang and his men could deal with them. At this time, Meteor was waving his left arm at Night Sorrow's body and kicking his legs. Night Sorrow didn't care about this. Meteor's left arm didn't have a weapon. When it hit his body protected by the virtuous immortal body, it didn't cause any damage. It was completely negligible. As for Meteor's threatening right hand that was holding the saber, it was completely controlled by him. Let go of our Legion commander, and we'll spare your life. Otherwise, we'll cut you into pieces. Meteor's Legion commanders roared. They never thought that Meteor would be defeated by Night Sorrow. They also saw that Meteor was constantly being injured, and his aura was getting weaker and weaker. Let go of him. I spent so much effort to get rid of him. How can I let go? Continue chasing. I'll deal with you in a while. Night Sorrow shouted without turning his head. He pulled the bloodbath Chilan evil-slaying spear out of Meteor's body, and then stabbed it in again. He constantly used vibration force and wave force to destroy Meteor's body. I'll definitely kill you. Meteor and Night Sorrow were very close. His eyes were almost spitting fire. At the same time, the energy in his body began to gather. You forgot that your soul can leave your body. I won't give you the chance, virtuous fire. Night Sorrow's virtuous reincarnation, Dao Domain began to burn with the virtuous fire. If Meteor's soul left his body, his virtuous fire could envelop it and destroy it. Meteor's expression changed. Night Sorrow had cut off his escape route. Under such circumstances, if his soul left his body, it would be destroyed by Night Sorrow's Dao Domain. It would be very difficult for him to escape. You're shameless and despicable. Meteor cursed. Chapter 2145. After getting rid of Lu Xing's Legion commander, Night Sorrow continued to deal with Lu Xing. The virtuous fire also enveloped Lu Xing, preventing his soul from leaving his body. Lu Xing kept cursing, but he couldn't fight back. As Night Sorrow tortured him, his body was damaged beyond recognition. His tendons and bones were all broken. In the chase, Night Sorrow's God-slaying team was getting closer and closer to their base. You guys keep chasing. You won't be able to escape later. Night Sorrow's blood-Chilan evil punishment spear stabbed Lu Xing's body a few more times. At the same time, his soul power vibrated, and the soul crystal that Lin Piaomiao had given him a long time ago was taken out of his storage ring and shattered. Night Sorrow wanted to keep Lu Xing's Legion commanders here, but he didn't want to bring the battle to the God-slaying team's base. Normal Monarch Realm cultivators were too weak in front of the tribulation of the three emperors. Once they were attacked, they would be killed. Night Sorrow didn't want his men to get hurt. When the soul crystal shattered, Lin Piaomiao, who had just returned to her tent to drink tea, stood up. My soul crystal shattered. It's not too far away. Night Sorrow broke it. There's a problem. Let's go help. Lin Piaomiao came out of the tent. Pu Luo, Yuzhu, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and Tianyu followed. Lin Yan wanted to follow, but Long Jin asked her to stay and watch the base. When Lin Piaomiao and Pu Luo met Night Sorrow and Lu Xing's subordinates were cursing at each other. Night Sorrow cursed as he stabbed Lu Xing with his blood-chilling evil punishment spear. Lu Xing didn't have much life left. No matter how high his cultivation was, he couldn't withstand Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil punishment spear. You came at the right time. Hold them down for a while. Don't let any of them escape. I'll kill this one first. Night Sorrow's body flashed behind Pu Luo and the others. Then he lifted his right knee and sent Lu Xing's body flying. Then he struck out with his spear and shattered Lu Xing's head. Afterward, the fire of virtue wrapped around Lu Xing's soul and burned it. The early, middle, and late stages of the Emperor Tribulation had different soul levels. Lu Xing's soul level was high, so he couldn't kill him easily. That was why Night Sorrow had been running all the time. He didn't have time to deal with Lu Xing. Now that someone was covering for him, Night Sorrow had time. The Merit Dao domain suppressed Lu Xing's soul form, preventing it from escaping. Night Sorrow's fire of merit burned Lu Xing's soul form. At the same time, the bloodbath evil-slaying spear constantly stabbed into Lu Xing's soul form. The energy continued to vibrate, causing Lu Xing's soul form to become unstable. Night Sorrow struck 5 times with all his strength. Coupled with the fire of soul, Night Sorrow finally killed Lu Xing. Lu Xing was completely killed. After his soul power swept through the spoils of war, Night Sorrow rushed toward Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and Tianyu. The 3 of them were fighting against a cultivator of the 3 Emperor Tribulation. They were at an absolute disadvantage. They were pushed back time and time again. The difference in cultivation was too big. If the 3 of them didn't have a tacit understanding, they would have died easily. Lin Chuan and Tianyu went to help Yuzhu. Night Sorrow asked Long Jin to bring the rest of the team over. Night Sorrow started to kill the cultivator of the 3 Emperor Tribulation in front of him. Night Sorrow was terrifying when he went all out. In half a cup of tea's time, Night Sorrow killed his opponent. Then Night Sorrow took care of Yuzhu. Yuzhu was a cultivator of the tribulation of the 2 Emperor Tribulation, so she was under a lot of pressure. Even with Lin Chuan and Tianyu's help, it wasn't enough. After Night Sorrow took care of her, Yuzhu went to help Lin Piaomiao, who had the upper hand but couldn't suppress her. On the other battlefield, Pu Luo's fists were extremely domineering. He had already suppressed his opponent. Victory was only a matter of time. 8 Emperor Tribulation. First strike Z. Night Sorrow killed Lu Xing. Although it was a sneak attack, his strength was obvious. After fighting for a while, the soul destruction slash was effective and killed his opponent. Night Sorrow didn't help the remaining 2 teams because they could win either way. Night Sorrow nodded to Lin Chuan and Tianyu. He took out the Clear Sky Pagoda and entered it. He wanted to recover in the shortest time possible. After the rest of the team came over to prepare, he would start killing the meteor core. What are the cultivators we killed? Tianyu looked at Lin Chuan. He couldn't tell the cultivation of his opponent. Lin Chuan's cultivation was higher than his. I can't tell either. They must be cultivators of the tribulation of the Emperor Tribulation, Lin Chuan said. The battle was still going on. However, the 2 commanders of the meteor core were getting weaker and weaker. Pu Luo's cultivation was 1 level higher than his opponent's. When Lin Piaomiao was an emperor, she was known to be invincible in head-on battles. She was good at fighting head-on battles. She already had the upper hand. After Yuzhu joined in, the battle became a foregone conclusion. Long Jin arrived with the Heaven Wasteland Army, the First Army and the God-Slaying Team. When Night Sorrow appeared, the battle was already over. Pu Luo, Lin Piaomiao, and Yuzhu were all meditating to recover. They didn't use much energy, unlike Night Sorrow who fought a great battle. Chief Commander. Alliance Leader. Many people bowed when they saw Night Sorrow. You all came just in time. The battle is coming. We need a plan to destroy the entire core of tribulation, Night Sorrow said. Alliance Leader, according to what you said, they have thousands of people. It'll be difficult for us to do that. Pu Luo was stunned after hearing Night Sorrow's words. Their commander and several core commanders all died here. Their specialty is that they don't have doppelgangers, so the news didn't leak out. They won't move for a short period of time. Now we need to set up the formation. What we need to do next is to hunt the wolves and herd the sheep into the formation to kill them. Night Sorrow explained the plan. This was the plan he came up with while meditating. Puluo and the others were shocked when they heard Night Sorrow say that the commander of the core of tribulation had died. This was because he was a cultivator of the tribulation of 5 emperors. After speaking, Night Sorrow suddenly stopped moving. His body was full of golden light. It was the golden light of merit that couldn't be controlled. At this time, the body of Night Sorrow at the top of the Heaven Wasteland Tower shone with golden light. Golden light also appeared in the sky and gathered on Night Sorrow's body. The golden light illuminated the Heaven Wasteland Tower and radiated in all directions. Night Sorrow stood at the top of the Heaven Wasteland Tower and bathed in the golden light of merit. He knew that after killing Lu Xing and the 2 core commanders of the Tribulation World, the Heavenly Tao had decided that he had created more merit for the Celestial Realm. If Lu Xing and the 2 core commanders had led their armies into the Celestial Realm, the people would have been in a terrible situation. Now this problem was solved. With the advancement of his merit cultivation, Night Sorrow's cultivation had broken through the limit of a level 5 Imperial Lord and reached level 6. However, he had only just reached level 6. This was the foundation he had accumulated. He had benefited the Celestial Realm and preached. Together with the merit this time, Night Sorrow's merit had advanced. In the past he had killed Mo Tianji and the Holy Lord of the Demon Wing clan. This was a supreme merit for the natives of the Celestial Realm. Chapter 2146. After Night Sorrow absorbed the golden light of virtue into his body, he sat down and continued to cultivate. Looking at the situation, Lu Qi waved his hand and dismissed everyone. In the world of calamity, Night Sorrow opened his eyes. Puluo, we don't have enough manpower, and the Heaven Wasteland army can't be mobilized in large numbers. At this time, we can only use our own strength to get the Humanitarian League team over. Call the Great Demon King, Ruiz and Funtian over. The Calamity Army is a big matter. Killing them is a great merit to the Celestial Realm. Okay, I'll go back and mobilize the troops now. Puluo nodded and left the stronghold through the teleportation formation set up by the Formation Masters of the Heaven Wasteland Army. Night Sorrow asked the Formation Masters to gather and commanded everyone to set up the formation according to his own ideas. It was the unparalleled formation. He wanted to completely eliminate the Meteor Army here. 5 and hashtag. The unparalleled formation was very deep. It was a compound formation. Ordinary formation masters couldn't understand and control it. Night Sorrow split it up and let the formation masters set it up. He then combined and connected it. While setting up the formation, Night Sorrow also felt the situation after the promotion of his power of virtue. The improvement of his original body was the same as the improvement of his doppelganger. Lin Piaomiao and Yuzhu followed beside Night Sorrow and asked Night Sorrow about the Calamity Army. After hearing the process of Night Sorrow killing Meteor, they were really worried for Night Sorrow because it was really risky for Night Sorrow to launch a sneak attack in their territory under the eyes of their subordinates. Night Sorrow, this is a little too risky. Lin Piaomiao was a little scared. This was Night Sorrow's success. If there was a mistake, then the result would be completely different. I'm a little worried and anxious. We don't know how many legions there are in the Calamity World. We have to speed up the pace. Meteor is only a commander in the Calamity World. No one can be sure how many commanders there are. Let's kill one first. Night Sorrow said while setting up the formation. Night Sorrow's speed in setting up the array formation was very fast. He was almost using all his strength to set up the array formation. He was in a hurry and did not want to waste too much time. An hour later, Puluo arrived with his men. Alliance Master, the battle at the entrance is quite fierce. The Ice Phoenix clan and the Azure Dragons are working together to hold them back. Other forces are also rushing over, Puluo said. Can you handle it? Night Sorrow asked. I can withstand it. Puluo nodded. Night Sorrow said to Puluo, that's good. It will take some time to set up the formation. Tell your brothers that there will be no time to rest and recover after the battle starts. Everyone should use their energy wisely. Don't be stingy with resources. We have to follow the army of the world of calamity and fight to the end. Pu Luo nodded and went to make the arrangements. The preparation and deployment before the battle were very important. Knight Sorrow did not have the time now. As the law-enforcing elder of the 100 Races Elder Assembly, he had to help Knight Sorrow deal with these matters. The Heaven Wasteland Army would also accept his orders. After half a day, Knight Sorrow had almost finished setting up the array formation. After arranging for an Emperor-level array formation master in the Heaven Wasteland Army to deal with some flaws in the terrain around the array formation, Knight Sorrow gathered everyone together. Now let's talk about the team allocation. Pu Luo and Lin Miao, your teams will remain unchanged. Senior brother Fen Tian will join Lin Miao's team. Rui Si, you will be in Pu Luo's team. Great Demon King, you and Yu Zhu will lead the Humanitarian League's team and the First Army. I will lead the God-slaying team and surround them. We will chase them to this area and exhaust their strength on the way. Finally, we will finish them off here. Knight Sorrow explained the arrangement. After Knight Sorrow made the arrangements, Pu Luo and Lin Miao looked at Knight Sorrow. Isn't your team a little too weak? It is, but it's not a big problem. I killed my way in and out of their campsite a few times. They should be afraid of me and won't attack my team, Knight Sorrow said. How about this? My original body is not in a cultivation state. I will be in your team on the way, the Great Demon King said. That's fine. Let's set off then. We will go around their campsite and attack, Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. After the allocation of teams and personnel was done, Knight Sorrow led his team and set off. Because of the soul imprint, Knight Sorrow could roughly sense the location. He realized that the army under Lu Xing's command had not moved. Knight Sorrow led his team to avoid Lu Xing's scouting area and arrived at the opposite side of Lu Xing's campsite. The Lu Xing's original body was between his team and the formation area. At this time, the Great Demon King's original body also arrived. He had the cultivation of tribulation of the 3 emperors, so his speed was much faster than the team's movement. The battle is about to start. I have a few old words to say. We have to go back alive. This is not only a responsibility for ourselves, but also for our families. I've said this before. After so many years, we have to look back and see that our brothers are still around. Everyone has cultivated the combined attack formation. When you can exchange your injuries for the lives of your brothers, you have to take a hit for them. If you have the determination to take a hit for others, others will also have the same awareness. If there are brothers who can take a hit for us, our hearts will be filled with warmth and a sense of accomplishment. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, he knocked on his left chest and bowed slightly. In fact, this was also a kind of sincere request. In response to Knight Sorrow, everyone knocked on their left chest and bowed in response. Thank you. Knight Sorrow stood up straight and said these 2 words in a low voice. He was grateful that these soldiers in front of him could understand what he meant. Captain, we should be the ones thanking you for being able to fight by your side, Ho Jian said with some emotion. Let's not talk about this anymore. Brothers, after we go back, Knight Sorrow will hold a banquet for everyone. You just have to bring the people who are drinking back. Now the other 3 teams have entered the encirclement area. Remember, if the situation is critical, help each other. The battle will start in 15 minutes. Knight Sorrow raised the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in his right hand and waved it. At this time, in Lu Xing's campsite, a middle-aged man was sitting in the main tent. He was Lu Xing's junior brother Lu Yun. He was also a cultivator of tribulation of the 5 emperors. After listening to a commander of Lu Xing's report, Lu Yun raised his eyebrows. He felt that something was wrong. Lu Xing's tribulation of the 5 emperors had been attacked by a tribulation of the 3 emperors. The other commanders should not have a problem providing support. However, according to the time, they should have returned by now. Sir, what should we do now? The commander asked. There was no commander of Lu Xing's Meteor Legion now. This commander was the first commander, and was currently in charge of the Meteor Legion's affairs. The situation is not very good. Wait a little longer. If there is still no news, you take your men and join the Fire Dance Corps. I will go and find them. Lu Yun thought for a moment, and felt that this place was not very safe. He was worried that the people of the celestial realm would come and kill them. At present, the Meteor Legion's morale was too low. They had to rest to recover their combat strength. The commander who reported the situation bowed and accepted the order. Chapter 2147. Lu Yun was at the tribulation of the 5 emperors. His soul power was very strong. When Night Sorrow's 4 teams surrounded him, he sensed it. He knew that his worries had come true. Something had happened to Lu Xing. Now people from the celestial realm were charging over. After giving the order to prepare for battle, Lu Yun soared into the sky and looked in the direction of the 4 teams. When he saw Night Sorrow, he knew that Night Sorrow was the commander. First of all, he knew what Night Sorrow looked like from the report of the Meteor Legion's commander. In addition, Night Sorrow led the fewest people and was in the middle. He was in the leading position. When Night Sorrow probed Lu Yun, he knew that something had happened. He didn't expect a second tribulation of the 5 emperors cultivator to appear. Great Demon King, another tribulation of the 5 emperors cultivator has appeared. I'll take care of this iron plate. Lead the brothers. Night Sorrow shouted to the Great Demon King beside him. Alliance Master, why don't I do it? At that moment, the Great Demon King also knew the situation. Lu Yun's cultivation was obvious. You're the main body. You can't take the risk. Fortunately, you're here. You can help me lead the team. I had to sneak attack the last guy because his subordinates interfered. This time, I don't have any worries. Let's fight head-on. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid. His heart was filled with fighting spirit. All right. The Great Demon King nodded heavily. Night Sorrow waved his right arm, and the blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear rose into the sky. He looked at Lu Yun. Neither of them cared about the battle below. Where's Lu Xing? Lu Yun waved his right arm, and a long sword appeared in his hand. I killed him, Night Sorrow said. You killed him? Shameless boasting. Lu Yun snorted coldly. Before the Emperor's tribulation, there were many geniuses who could kill opponents above their level. However, after the Emperor's tribulation, it was very difficult to fight opponents above their level, let alone kill opponents above their level. Night Sorrow said that he had killed Lu Xing, but Lu Yun didn't believe him because there was a 2-level difference between them. It was already good enough that he hadn't been killed. It was impossible for him to kill Lu Xing. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He took out Meteor's crystal core with his left hand and showed it to Lu Yun before putting it away. It hadn't been long since the meteor fell. The crystal core still had his aura, so Lu Yun could naturally tell. Night Sorrow was using facts to speak. It was also a psychological battle. He wanted Lu Yun to know that he could kill a cultivator from the 5 sovereign tribulation. Damn it! Flowing Cloud cursed. Just as Night Sorrow had expected, after seeing Meteor's crystal core, Flowing Cloud couldn't remain calm. The furious Flowing Cloud attacked. He released his Dao domain and brandished his sword. He released his sword beam and slashed at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow used Void Steps and dodged Flowing Cloud's sword beam attack. He also noticed Flowing Cloud's situation. Flowing Cloud's Dao domain was a fused Dao domain. It was a fusion of multiple attributes with the Death attribute as the main element. Seeing Night Sorrow dodge, Flowing Cloud quickly slashed out with his sword. Sword beams slashed at Night Sorrow, one after another. The sword momentum was endless. Night Sorrow didn't counterattack. He wouldn't fight Flowing Cloud head-on. His cultivation level was low. No matter how domineering his energy was, he was at an absolute disadvantage in terms of numbers. This was an unavoidable fact. Seeing Night Sorrow dodge, Flowing Cloud's sword beams became denser, forming a sword beam net that attacked Night Sorrow. Unable to dodge, Night Sorrow used Space-Time Realm. His body flickered as the sword beams flew over. He didn't suffer any damage. Flowing Cloud's sword beams were sharp, but they didn't cause much of an impact on the void turbulence and alternate spaces. Therefore, they were ineffective against Night Sorrow. Seeing that the sword beams were ineffective, Flowing Cloud knew that Night Sorrow's defensive technique was powerful. However, his sword technique had changed. It carried a unique Dao charm that caused space to tremble when it was released. Night Sorrow retreated. At the same time, he understood that the sword beams Flowing Cloud released had already caused damage to the void turbulence and alternate spaces. It wasn't an ordinary sword beam, but an ultimate sword technique. Taboo Primordial Dao Domain. Knight Sorrow released his Taboo Primordial Dao Domain in all directions. He wanted to melt Flowing Cloud's sword beams and weaken their might. This way, Flowing Cloud's sword beams would be weakened and wouldn't break through his spacetime realm. Knight Sorrow wanted to test Flowing Cloud's strength and find an opportunity to counterattack. He wouldn't easily counterattack. When he counterattacked, he had to pose a threat to Flowing Cloud. It had to be fatal. Knight Sorrow's movement technique was fast. With the Taboo Primordial Dao Domain's melting ability, Flowing Cloud's attack didn't cause much damage to Knight Sorrow. When Knight Sorrow dodged the attack, he retreated to the sky above the battle. He had been watching the battle the entire time. The 4 teams under Knight Sorrow slaughtered the Meteor Legion's soldiers and chased them away. The Meteor Legion had many people, but their combat strength was inferior to Knight Sorrow's men. It had to be known that the strength of the leaders under Knight Sorrow's command was very high. Pilyua was at the 4 Emperor Tribulation. Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King were at the 3 Emperor Tribulation. Yuzhu was at the 2 Emperor Tribulation. And Fun Tian was at the 1 Emperor Tribulation. As for the Meteor Legion, most of their cultivators had been killed by Knight Sorrow. The remaining cultivators were at most at the 1 Emperor Tribulation, so they couldn't fight against these people. In terms of the combat strength of ordinary soldiers, Knight Sorrow's men had the help of a joint attack formation. Trapping the Meteor Legion's warriors was a massacre. The main thing was that the Meteor Legion's morale was already gone. Now they could only retreat and run. Lu Xing was very annoyed. Knight Sorrow was like a loach. His attacks didn't have much effect. In addition, Knight Sorrow's speed was also fast. He couldn't catch him. At this moment, he also understood why Lu Xing called him over. He wanted to form a blockade and deal with Knight Sorrow. Energy attacks didn't have much damage. Smoke appeared on Flowing Cloud's sword beams. He had added a soul attack into his sword technique. 5 Yong Yjo XV Phi W Look at Z little z. Say Knight Sorrow countered every move he made. He powered the 9 regions' origin beads and protected his Divine Sea, blocking Lu Yun's soul attack. Trash! Seeing that Knight Sorrow was only dodging and not retaliating, Flowing Cloud, who had no solution, cursed. Then he looked down at the battlefield and stared at Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao's killing power in the battle with the Drifting Cloud Legion was extremely high. Her direct combat strength was strong, and the cultivation level of the tribulation of the 3 sovereigns suppressed the soldiers of the Drifting Cloud Legion. Therefore, anyone who was targeted by her would definitely die. Since he couldn't deal with Knight Sorrow, Flowing Cloud wanted to deal with Lin Piaomiao. The main reason was that he was helpless against Knight Sorrow's movement and defense. Noticing Flowing Cloud's gaze, Knight Sorrow knew that he had to retaliate. If he didn't retaliate, Flowing Cloud would change targets. Then those targeted by Flowing Cloud would be in danger. After retracting his Primordial Dao Domain, Knight Sorrow activated his Karmic Cycle Dao Domain and pressed down on the river basin. Then he used Spatial Rend and Soul Annihilation Slash at Lu Yun. Oh! Lu Yun's wandering gaze returned. He noticed Knight Sorrow and felt the suppression. Knight Sorrow's Imperial Lord level power of merit increased his combat strength by at least 30%. In addition, with the domineering Samsara attribute, Lu Yun's domain had been suppressed to the point of shrinking back to his side. After switching Dao domains, Knight Sorrow used Soul Annihilation Slash and Spatial Rend, using his Blood Qilin Evil Vanquishing Spear to execute the true reincarnation dragon art. He charged at Lu Yun. Chapter 2148. The suppression of his Dao domain caused Ling Yun's expression to change. This situation was too shocking. His Sure cultivation was 20% higher than Knight Sorrow's, so his Dao domain was 20% deeper than Knight Sorrow's. However, he was now completely suppressed. He was suppressed to the point that his Dao domain was reduced to a protective barrier. Just as Lu Yun was feeling surprised, Knight Sorrow's spatial rift restricted his movements. Following that, Soul Annihilation slashed at him. Lu Yun's body trembled as he used his Dao domain to protect himself with his soul power. He naturally knew that the Crescent Blade, which was half a person tall, was a soul attack. Knight Sorrow's Soul Annihilation Slash was blocked by Lu Yun's soul defense. However, Soul Annihilation / didn't just have the effect of killing. It also had the effect of causing illusions and other negative effects. While Lu Yun was affected by the illusions, Night Sorrow's true Samsara Dragon Art attack arrived. Due to the illusions, the power of Lu Yun's sword technique decreased. His speed and attack strength were not enough. After blocking Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear, his body was sent flying by the Samsara energy. His arms trembled uncontrollably. Night Sorrow's body was very strong. It was not something Lu Yun could withstand. After suppressing Lu Yun with a full-powered attack, Night Sorrow used Spatial Rift and Soul Annihilation / again. His left hand also struck out with Samsara Heaven-covering hand to suppress Lu Yun. Then he used Void Steps and the True Destruction Dragon Art to attack Lu Yun again. At that moment, Lu Yun knew how terrifying Night Sorrow was. He also knew the reason for Lu Xing's fall. Night Sorrow had the ability to fight and kill a 5 Sovereigns Tribulation Cultivator. Night Sorrow, who was attacking at full strength, completely suppressed Lu Yun. Wave after wave of ferocious attacks kept injecting Samsara energy into Lu Yun's body, destroying it. Lu Yun felt fear in his heart. Night Sorrow's energy that had invaded his body was very stubborn. He couldn't suppress it and kept destroying his body, causing him to be able to control less and less energy. His combat power was also decreasing. I have to leave. Lu Yun knew that if this continued, he would end up like Lu Xing, killed by Night Sorrow. With the intention of retreating, Flowing Cloud flashed, and was about to leave Night Sorrow's attack range. Flowing Cloud wanted to leave, but Night Sorrow naturally wasn't willing. He had to eat the big fish in his mouth. Night Sorrow alternated between executing Void Steps and Spatial Realm, constantly intercepting and attacking Lu Yun. He also pushed his Karmic Taboo, Samsara Dao Domain to its limits, suppressing Lu Yun's strength and speed. Damn it! Flowing Cloud realized that after suffering a blow, his strength was inferior to Night Sorrow's, be it in terms of attack strength or speed. You're the one who deserves to die now. If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. Night Sorrow's attacks came wave after wave, constantly weakening Flowing Cloud's strength. As the battle continued, Lu Yun's condition became worse and worse. He had already been shot, and a portion of his meridians had been destroyed. Lu Yun knew that he couldn't take it anymore. If this continued, he would definitely die. After some thought, Lu Yun began to circulate the energy in his body. He wanted to self-destruct and leave his soul to survive. Night Sorrow discovered Lu Yun's intentions, but he couldn't suppress it. At that moment, Lu Yun still had nearly half of his energy left. With a violent boom, Lu Yun self-destructed. Following that, his soul flew out of his body. Night Sorrow couldn't withstand Lu Yun's self-destruction head-on. After releasing his Karmic Taboo, Samsara Dao Domain to its limits, he used Spatial Realm, and shot out the blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear. Lu Yun's soul flew very quickly, but Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear was even faster. It directly pierced through Lu Yun's soul. The huge shockwave caused Lu Yun's soul to become unstable. At that moment, Night Sorrow appeared again. He used his Karmic Primordial Domain to suppress and melt Lu Yun's soul. The fire of merit wrapped around it, and began burning it. Without his weapon in hand, Night Sorrow casually took out Meteor's sword, and used the Primordial Heavenly Sword Art to cut and melt Lu Yun's soul. Lu Yun's soul kept struggling to fly, but he couldn't escape the wrapping and burning of the fire of merit. After being slashed a dozen times by Night Sorrow, he was completely annihilated. After collecting Lu Yun's battle spoils, Night Sorrow's body flickered. He ran thousands of miles away before taking back his blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear. These thousands of miles were within the range of his soul power. Moreover, the blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear was a weapon that recognized its master. It couldn't be lost. After returning, Night Sorrow didn't attack again. He just watched. At present, his subordinates had an absolute advantage. They drove the meteor core toward the formation area and killed them. When the members of the Heaven Wasteland Army, the Humanitarian League, and the God-slaying team saw Night Sorrow in the sky, they felt relieved. They knew that Night Sorrow had killed the strongest member of the meteor core. Pu Luo, the Alliance Master's strength is too terrifying. Ruisi said after killing an Emperor Tribulation Cultivator. Yes, a cultivator from the 5 Emperors' tribulation was killed in a short while. His potential is limitless, Pu Luo said as he fought. Why did all cultivators value combat strength and potential? Because it was related to the space for development. Take Night Sorrow as an example. After Night Sorrow cultivated to the tribulation of 7 emperors, he might be comparable to other cultivators who cultivated to the tribulation of 9 emperors. In this case, Night Sorrow still had 2 levels of room for improvement. But what about the cultivators of the tribulation of 9 emperors? They were already facing a bottleneck and had no room for improvement. They could only be surpassed and suppressed. In the chase, the number of soldiers of the Meteor Corps kept decreasing. When they were driven to the formation area, only half of the soldiers of the Tribulation Corps were in the formation. Night Sorrow also landed on the ground. They're all trapped by the formation. Pu Luo came to Night Sorrow's side. Do you have to kill? Do you have to do it? Night Sorrow waved his hand and left. At this time he was deeply touched. Who was guilty? No one was guilty. This was war. But Night Sorrow didn't want to slaughter the soldiers of the Tribulation Corps, who didn't have the power to fight back. Night Sorrow, who was touched, had an epiphany in his heart. He understood what the Taoist heart was, and also knew the way to go. He had to prove the Taoist heart with the human heart, and prove the Taoist heart with the heaven's heart. Night Sorrow went to the encampment of the formation area and meditated. He didn't want to see what happened next. Those were the cruel killings brought about by war. 3 days later, the war was over. The Meteor Corps disappeared as if they had never appeared in front of everyone. Night Sorrow, their existence is a tribulation. Fighting with us is the meaning of their existence. So don't feel guilty. Lin Piaomiao and Pu Luo appeared beside Night Sorrow. No. Although I don't want to face it, I won't feel any pressure because of it. These things made me understand one thing, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Chapter 2149. The origin of the Tribulation Realm was in the deepest part of the Tribulation Realm, the Spirit Abyss, which was also where Spirit Sovereign Black Spirit cultivated. 3 legions. Now that we've eliminated one, there are still 2 legions and one of the 3 commanders. That means we've eliminated 1/3 of the forces other than Spirit Sovereign Black Spirit, Night Sorrow said. That's right. Currently, at the entrance of the space passage, the ones fighting with the rest of the people from the Heaven Realm are the Black Iron Army. Their commander is Black Iron. As for how many protectors went over, I don't know. There's also the Fire Dance Corps. The Fire Dance Corps is on their way to the Heaven Realm. Do you know the specific route? Night Sorrow asked Lin Piaomiao. Yes, Night Sorrow bewitched a high-level commander, so I know more about it. Of the 3 legions in the Tribulation Realm, the Black Iron Legion was the first to assemble and set off. They're also at the entrance of the spatial passage. Next is the Meteor Legion. When the Meteor Legion set off, the Fire Dance Corps was still assembling. We should be able to stop them. Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow the details. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow felt that they had to stop the Fire Dance Corps. If the Fire Dance Corps and the Black Iron Legion met, they would be a great threat to the spatial passage. After all, they were both high-level legions with terrifying combat power. Even if the Azure Dragons, Ice Phoenixes, and Azure Rocks worked together, they might not be able to stop them. Therefore, stopping them in advance was the best solution. Night Sorrow ordered the team to rest for half a day. Then, he asked Night Sorrow to lead the way and intercept the Fire Dance Corps' route. Night Sorrow, the Fire Dance Corps' Legion Commander, is a 5 Emperor Tribulation cultivator, like Meteor. The Legion Commander is also at the same level. We have to plan well to intercept them, Lin Piaomiao said. Night Sorrow smiled. I've accumulated some experience this time. The next battle won't be as passive as this one. As for the plan, I have some ideas. Night Sorrow explained his plan to Pulyuo and the Great Demon King. If the Fire Dance Corps was the same as the Meteor Corps, then the attack could continue. Night Sorrow still planned to hunt down the upper echelons of the Fire Dance Corps first, such as those who had undergone the First Emperor Tribulation and High-Level Emperor Tribulation. This would reduce the pressure on his subordinates during the official battle. Looks like I still need you to do more work. We can't do this kind of thing. After all, our speed and defensive skills are not good enough, the great Demon King said. After killing some of their upper echelons, I'll try to ambush them and see if I have an opportunity to kill Commander Fire Dance. Of course, even if I don't have an opportunity, I still have to find one. Even if I have to lure her out, I still have to get rid of her. Night Sorrow explained the plan in detail. It wasn't complicated at all. It was just a replication of the previous war. Of course, this time, there were detailed steps. Yi Mei and White Ming Ming came. The two of them were holding a large map. The map was drawn by Yi Mei and White Ming Ming according to the situation in the commander's Divine Sea. After looking at the terrain, Night Sorrow pointed at an area. This is the best place to ambush on the route from the Spirit Abyss to the Spatial Passage. Let's wait there. The others nodded. They were very convinced by Night Sorrow's arrangements. The team rested. Night Sorrow checked Lu Yun's storage ring. After looking through it, Night Sorrow felt that this battle in the Tribulation Realm was a journey of opportunity. The resources he obtained were abundant. Night Sorrow had already obtained a lot of high-level spirit stones. Lu Xing and Lu Yun were both cultivators of the 5 Emperor Tribulation. They were the absolute upper echelons of the Tribulation Realm, and had abundant resources. Night Sorrow had obtained more than 20,000 Monarch Spirit Stones, and 2,000 Emperor Spirit Stones from the two of them. There were also Spirit Stones that surpassed Emperor Spirit Stones, but there were very few of them, only a dozen. A dozen ultra-top-grade Spirit Stones didn't sound like much, but Night Sorrow knew that they were very useful. These ultra-top-grade Spirit Stones could be used as the core of a formation to support a particularly powerful formation. He used Emperor Spirit Stones as the core of the formation to set up the unparalleled formation, which increased the power of the formation by a lot. In addition, Night Sorrow still had a lot of crystal cores in his hands. 2 of them were at the 5 Emperor Tribulation level, and contained very rich energy. One had to know that in the past wars between the 100 races and the demon-winged race in the Celestial Realm, almost none of the cultivators above the 5 Emperor Tribulation were killed, or had their crystal cores taken. After experiencing a few big battles, Night Sorrow found that his cultivation was much more solid and not superficial. After resting for half a day, Night Sorrow led the team forward. When they arrived at their destination, Night Sorrow had the team set up camp while he started to set up the formation with the Formation Master. Lin Piaomiao and Datira followed beside Night Sorrow, and chatted with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow Fire Dance is different from Lu Xing. She's a woman, and a sinister and cunning one at that. Don't fall for her tricks, Datira said to Night Sorrow. I'll be careful. This is war, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow also knew that female opponents were sometimes harder to deal with than male opponents. They were more meticulous and ruthless than men. Mo Tianji was an example. Night Sorrow chose a canyon to set up the formation area. If everything went smoothly, Night Sorrow would destroy the Fire Dance core in this canyon. After setting up the formation, Night Sorrow left. When he left, he took one of Lin Piaomiao's soul crystals. In the same situation as last time, Night Sorrow had to ask a few people for help. Night Sorrow explored the possible route of the Fire Dance core. When he found traces of a large group of people, Night Sorrow knew that the route was right. Those were the traces of the Black Iron core and the Meteor core. After finding a suitable place, Night Sorrow began to wait for the arrival of the Fire Dance core. At the same time, he sensed his own situation. After the battle, the situation of the doppelganger would be fed back to the main body. The main body would deduce and study, remove the flaws of the battle skills, and perfect them. In the past period of time, Night Sorrow had deduced some new battle skills, such as Reincarnation Spatial Split, Void Spatial Split, Primordial Extreme Kill, Primordial Origin Kill, and so on. They were all deduced and needed to be tested in actual combat. After a few battles, the main body would continue to perfect them according to the situation. In addition, the increase in the power of virtue had greatly increased the power of Night Sorrow's virtuous immortal body. Night Sorrow knew about the war against the Fire Dance core. It was the last battle he and his subordinates had in the Tribulation Realm. After this battle, they had destroyed 2 of the 3 major core. The Black Iron core had only a few people left at the Spatial Passage. As for Black Spirit Supremacy, Night Sorrow knew that he was no match for him because he was a cultivator of the 8 Emperor Tribulation. It would be too easy to deal with him. Finding trouble with Black Spirit supremacy and saving his life in front of Mo Zhantian were two different matters. There was no comparison. Previous chapter H. Chapter 2150. Fire Dance appeared. When she discovered Night Sorrow also discovered them. Night Sorrow was a small target, and he had activated his leakless true body. Fire Dance discovered him late. The Fire Dance core was a huge target, and Night Sorrow could easily discover them. Yishang's soul power shook violently and enveloped the Fire Dance core. After probing, Yishang found that Fire Dance was the only one with the 5 Emperor Tribulation. He immediately picked up the Blood Qilin evil slaying spear on his knees and rushed toward the Fire Dance core in a flash. Night Sorrow felt that Fire Dance was not a threat to him. He could deal with her like how he dealt with the Meteor core. Night Sorrow brandished his spear and rushed towards the army. Fire Dance, who was wearing fiery red armor, was stunned. She did not understand where this fool came from and wanted to commit suicide. Fire Dance raised her arm and stopped the army. Her soul power locked onto Night Sorrow. She wanted to see what Night Sorrow wanted to do. Without slowing down, Night Sorrow rushed towards the Fire Dance core. He was getting closer and closer to Fire Dance. W. Jengxinzuo. Hurry up and get on T. Fire Dance waved her right arm and pulled out a long sword that was hanging on her waist. The lower half of the sword extended to her knees. It was a long sword that was 6 feet long. Since Night Sorrow was rushing over, she naturally had to slash. However, Fire Dance's plan fell through. Night Sorrow did not give her the chance to slash. After approaching, Night Sorrow used Void Steps, Space-Time Realm, and Afterimage Body to break through Fire Dance's blockade. He entered the Fire Dance core and started killing. The situation went according to Night Sorrow's plan. It was the same as when he fought the Meteor core. Fire Dance chased from behind while he killed from the front. After killing for an hour, Night Sorrow's energy cultivation had increased by more than half. He used his speed to escape from Fire Dance's pursuit. After finding a safe place and entering the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow ate some energy recovery pills and began to recover. The reason he used the resources this time was to make the best use of his time to recover, so that he could proceed to the next battle as soon as possible. After failing to catch up to Night Sorrow, Fire Dance flew into a rage when she returned to the army. Her team had been completely annihilated. Due to the tribulation of 3 emperors, the army's upper echelons had suffered great losses. Some commanders and senior captains had been killed, and not even their mana cores were left behind. Bastard! You Legion commanders, listen up. If he comes again, don't hesitate. Even if you hurt your own people, you must stop him. Our Fire Dance Corps has been killed by a cultivator of the tribulation of 3 emperors. Do we still have any face left? Fire Dance battle armor's cape fluttered in the wind, and her face was as cold as frost. The other Legion commanders did not dare to utter a word. Fire Dance's temper was very violent, and no one dared to refute her words. Otherwise, they would be directly executed. With a 50-fold time acceleration, and the use of medicinal pills, Night Sorrow recovered in an hour in the real world. After recovering, Night Sorrow once again attacked the Fire Dance Corps. Although Fire Dance had ordered them to stop him at all costs, Night Sorrow's attainments in movement techniques were too profound. He alternated between using Void Steps, Space-Time Realm, and Afterimage Body, rendering Fire Dance and the other Legion commanders helpless. After fighting for an hour, Night Sorrow left once again. Fire Dance did not curse. She knew that the situation was very serious. The current situation was like a wolf staring at a flock of sheep, constantly attacking and retreating after a while. It was not easy to resolve. Fire Dance did not know how to deal with this. If she could not restrain Night Sorrow's speed, then she would not be able to do anything to Night Sorrow. However, how could she restrain Night Sorrow's speed? Night Sorrow had the space-time attribute and a movement technique. If he wanted to fight, he would fight. If he wanted to leave, he would leave. Fire Dance did not speak. She kept thinking. The other Legion commanders did not dare to speak. They did not dare to disturb Fire Dance's train of thought. The next time he comes, we can't let him kill us as he pleases and run away as he pleases. Tell the people below that whoever he kills, self-destruct. After thinking for a while, Fire Dance gave the order. Night Sorrow recovered quickly. After recovering, he attacked again. The battle started again. Night Sorrow found that the situation was not good. Whoever he wanted to kill, just as he rushed to the target's side, the target would self-destruct to injure him. Night Sorrow, who was not prepared at the beginning, almost suffered. Fortunately, he had the space-time realm. When his opponent self-destructed, he entered the space-time turbulence. Although he still suffered some of the energy impact, it was not serious or fatal. This happened several times in a row. Night Sorrow felt that this was not a bad thing. He used the void steps and attacked the higher cultivation. The self-destruction of experts was very destructive. His defensive technique could withstand the impact, but the other Emperor Realm cultivators and Emperor Realm cultivators would not be able to withstand it. In this way, Fire Dance's killing move became a muddle. After 2 Emperor Realm cultivators self-destructed under Night Sorrow's attack, Fire Dance shouted that they were not allowed to self-destruct anymore. If this continued, Night Sorrow did not need to kill them. The self-destruction of the high-level cultivators under her command would be enough to kill them. This time Fire Dance was really angry. When Night Sorrow left, she roared and started to chase after him. She burned her blood essence to chase after him. Cultivators would only burn their blood essence as a last resort. This was because the damage to their blood essence was very difficult to recover from. In the army, Fire Dance used a secret technique. She could not be faster than Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow zigzagged back and forth. Even if she was fast, she could not attack Night Sorrow. Now that Night Sorrow had left the Fire Dance Corps, she had to keep Night Sorrow busy. Otherwise, if Night Sorrow went back and forth a few more times, the experts of the Fire Dance Corps would be wiped out. Fire Dance burned her blood essence and released her Dao domain to suppress Night Sorrow. Sharp Sword Chi flew back and forth in her Dao domain. It was her Slaughter Sword Chi Dao domain. She could not execute her Slaughter Sword Chi Dao domain while fighting inside the army. After all, she would cause a lot of collateral damage. Now that she had burned her blood essence to increase her speed, she caught up to Night Sorrow and used her ultimate technique to suppress him. Night Sorrow unleashed his Merit Primordial Dao domain, blocking and dissolving the suppression of Fire Dance's Slaughter Sword Chi Dao domain. Following which, Night Sorrow unleashed a spatial tear, slicing forward. He then executed void steps to flee. Night Sorrow knew that Fire Dance's current offensive power was extremely frightening. If the Slaughter Sword Chi Dao domain enveloped him, the situation would be dire. She tore open a path through space, and void steps and afterimage body worked in tandem to escape. When there was danger, Night Sorrow would use space-time realm to evade Fire Dance's sword energy. With one fleeing and the other chasing, the 2 of them left the Fire Dance Corps' encampment. Run! Let's see how much energy you have left. Fire Dance's face was pale, devoid of blood. Although this was related to the burning of her blood essence, it was mainly due to her anger. Consuming energy is better than consuming blood essence. How much blood essence do you have to burn? Do you intend to burn all your blood essence and leave your body with your soul? Night Sorrow asked. I'll have to kill you first. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Fire Dance frowned. Night Sorrow's words had struck a chord in her heart. Although she wanted to consume energy, the price she had to pay was too heavy. As Night Sorrow ran ahead, he did not dare call for Lin Piaomiao and the others to help. Fire Dance's Dao domain was too sharp. Without a defensive ultimate technique, he could not block it. Must we fight to the death? Night Sorrow asked after executing void steps again to dodge Fire Dance's sword chi. Chapter 2151. Impossible. Night Sorrow dodged Fire Dance's attack. The pursuit continued. Night Sorrow did not retaliate. However, even if he did not retaliate, it was still a counterattack. He was using Fire Dance's own blood essence as a counterattack. Night Sorrow's movements were extraordinary. Since Fire Dance could not catch up to him, she kept cursing him. Naturally, Night Sorrow did not want to see this happen. Fire Dance, you are also a peak expert. You should understand that you need to speak with strength and reason. Cursing will only make others look down on you. Do I need you to think so highly of me? You are a bastard and trash. Fire Dance was furious at Night Sorrow's lecture. Fire Dance, you have to calm down. You know what's going on. This is a war between the world of tribulation and the world of tribulation. It's a war that only determines success or failure. There's no right or wrong. It's useless to scold me. Let's talk. Yishang corrected Fire Dance. What surprised Yishan was that Fire Dance actually stopped killing. Instead, she stopped. Coward. Didn't you want to talk? Why did you run so far? Fire Dance cursed as she watched Night Sorrow run away. Stop immediately. Even this won't stop. Can you put away your great sword and talk? Night Sorrow stopped and turned to face Fire Dance as he spoke. What do you want to talk about? Fire Dance did not put away her great sword. Instead, she pointed it behind her. Do you know your fate? Night Sorrow asked Fire Dance. Fate. If we win this war, I will decide my own fate. Fire Dance narrowed her eyes as she looked at Night Sorrow. At the same time, she continued to circulate her blood essence, calming the discomfort from burning her blood essence. She had stopped because she knew that even burning her blood essence would not do anything to Night Sorrow. There was no point in continuing the chase. What if we can't win? Do you know what happens to cultivators in the tribulation realm? They turn to ashes. Night Sorrow laughed. Winning or losing is not something you can decide. Do you think you can defeat Sovereign Wu Lingzuan? Wait until we defeat Sovereign Crow Spirit. Then you can talk about being annihilated. Fire Dance exhaled. This was the turbid air that came from burning her blood essence. What would you say if Sovereign Crow Spirit lost in front of you? Night Sorrow asked Fire Dance. The winner is king, and the loser is a thief. If that's the case, then I have nothing to say. However, you should wait and see. You can talk big after Sovereign Wu Lingzuan loses. Fire Dance swung her greatsword again. Wait a moment before you make your move. Wu Lingzuan is in the tribulation of the 8 emperors. In the celestial realm, there are currently 2 giants in the syncretic spirit realm, and 1 in the tribulation of the 9 emperors. No, there are 2. Do you think you can win? So if you behave now, you still have a chance. When Night Sorrow saw that Fire Dance wanted to fight again, he waved his hand and threw out 2 more sentences. If they could solve the problem without fighting, Night Sorrow felt that it would be best. The 2 tribulation of the 9 emperors that Night Sorrow mentioned were the Grand Elder and Mo Tianji. You're spouting nonsense. Why should I believe you? Besides, if we lose, we'll be annihilated. Is there a need for me to talk to you? Fire Dance laughed, and the destructive flames on her body began to burn. She planned to fight again. It would be best if she could kill Night Sorrow. If she couldn't, then she would retreat. There was no point in chasing after him. If you choose to submit, I can guarantee that you won't be annihilated. I can guarantee that you will live, just like the people of the celestial realm. Night Sorrow interrupted Fire Dance. Guarantee that I'll live? Fire Dance was stunned. That's right. As long as you stop harming the celestial realm, I can give you the life origin imprint of the new supreme world, so that your life aura will be the same as ours. Of course, I can also let you see the fall of Wu Lingzuan with your own eyes, Night Sorrow said. Fire Dance fell silent. She was different from Lu Xing. She knew some secrets and knew the meaning of the tribulation realm's existence. She also knew that if they lost, then everything would be gone. Besides, as Night Sorrow said, with so many giants in the celestial realm, there was no way the tribulation realm could win. Then I want your promise. Swear a heavenly oath that the Fire Dance Corps will be able to survive after we withdraw from this war. We will have space to survive, Fire Dance said after hesitating for a while. That's impossible. Yishang immediately refused. If it's impossible, then what's the point of talking? Fire Dance did not expect Night Sorrow to reject her directly. What I want is to end the war with the least damage. I'm willing to talk about your problem, but I don't want the Fire Dance Corps. Night Sorrow stated the reason for his refusal. He did not want to have any hidden dangers. You want to get rid of me and then wipe out the Fire Dance Corps at the least cost. You want me to watch the Fire Dance Corps get killed by you? Is this your sincerity? Fire Dance was a little angry. You don't have to be agitated. I'm telling the truth. If I'm not sincere, I'll agree first and then deal with the Fire Dance Corps. I didn't agree because I don't make empty promises. What I say counts. Besides, do you think the Fire Dance Corps can do much? Night Sorrow said as he took out Lu Xing and Lu Yun's crystal cores and showed them to Fire Dance. Seeing Lu Xing and Lu Yun's crystal cores, Fire Dance was stunned. Her eyes were full of surprise. She was familiar with Lu Xing and Lu Yun, and could naturally tell that they belonged to them. Lu Xing and Lu Yun are dead. The entire meteor core has been annihilated. Not a single one of them survived. If I'm not mistaken, even if the Black Iron Core is still fighting, they should have been wiped out by now. Night Sorrow showed Fire Dance the crystal core and put it away. Fire Dance did not speak. The facts were in front of her. Lu Xing and Lu Yun were dead. They were all 5 sovereign tribulation cultivators with the same cultivation as her. Even if there was a difference in combat strength, the difference would not be too big. After a moment of silence, Fire Dance looked at Night Sorrow and asked, "If I continue to chase, will your hidden experts appear?" "That won't happen." "Haha. I killed Lu Xing and Lu Yun. I've been running not because I'm afraid of you. Not fighting back doesn't mean that I don't have the ability. I have enough strength to kill you." After saying so, Night Sorrow activated his karmic merit domain, following which he executed Space Splitter and Soul Extinguishing / simultaneously. Following which he used the true reincarnation dragon art enhanced by the power of virtue to bombard Fire Dance. Seeing Night Sorrow's attack, Fire Dance swung her sword at Night Sorrow. However, due to the impact of Soul Extinguishing / her sword energy attack was not able to display its full power. Under Night Sorrow's full-powered attack, coupled with the support of his physical strength and the power of virtue, she was sent flying. After being sent flying, shock filled Fire Dance's eyes. When she saw that Night Sorrow had stopped pursuing her, she was speechless. Night Sorrow's powerful attack had already injured her. If this continued, she felt that she would not be able to last much longer. "I want to prove that I have the ability to deal with you. Moreover, your speed and movement technique are not as good as mine. You won't be able to escape. However, if we can talk, I'm still willing to talk," Night Sorrow said as he swung his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. "I want the brothers of the Fire Dance Corps to live. This is my bottom line. In addition, I have to see Sovereign Crow Spirit die in battle before I can fulfill the conditions that we can discuss." Fire Dance's gaze towards Night Sorrow changed. "New Jersey forever. Forever. Little H. Speak." Chapter 2152. 4. I have 3 Legion commanders under me. I also have a junior sister who is the general manager. After hesitating for a moment, Fire Dance compromised. However, she wanted one more slot. "For is not impossible. Then, I'll tell you the details. If the details are agreed upon, we'll stop fighting. If not, we'll pretend we never talked about it." Night Sorrow put away the blood-chilling evil slayer spear and tossed a jar of wine to Fire Dance. "Okay." Fire Dance also put away her greatsword. Next, Night Sorrow asked Fire Dance if she knew what the Virtuous Sage and Virtuous Emperor were. Fire Dance nodded. She indeed knew about these things. Seeing that Fire Dance knew what he was doing, Night Sorrow once again released his virtue energy for her to see. "I am the Virtuous Emperor, the human sovereign of the 100 races of the celestial realm. I am telling you that my words are absolutely trustworthy. Do you understand?" Night Sorrow looked at Fire Dance. "I knew you weren't simple. However, I didn't expect you to be an important figure in the celestial realm. I still understand the word human sovereign." Fire Dance nodded. "Then, you should know that I will not do things against my will. When I negotiate with you, I will give you the most favorable conditions. I will not exploit you. Hence, there is almost no room for negotiation." Night Sorrow revealed his strength and identity in order to have a better negotiation. Fire Dance nodded. After confirming Night Sorrow's identity as a human sovereign, she knew that Night Sorrow's words were trustworthy. Night Sorrow gave Fire Dance the same conditions as Mo Tianji. The only difference was that in the war against the Demon Wing race, if Night Sorrow needed her, she would have to fight. Is the 9-domain world the future supreme world? Fire Dance asked. Yes. I am also the realm lord of the 9-domain world. Hence, I must resolve all hidden dangers and control everything in my hands. Let alone you. Even the cultivators of the tribulation of 9 sovereigns will receive the same treatment. Of course, in my heart, I will not discriminate. As long as everyone is well, I will treat everyone equally. Night Sorrow nodded. Fire Dance did not raise any further conditions as she immediately agreed. After all, she understood that it was pointless to raise any more conditions. If Night Sorrow said that this was his bottom line, then it was his bottom line. All right, I'll wait for you here. Go arrange for the army to not move. I'll take you to the 9 regions world to take a look. Also see if my friend is free. If she's free, I'll take her to deal with Sovereign Crow Spirit. Night Sorrow thought for a moment before making the arrangements. Fire Dance left. She knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't go so far as to trick her. If he did, she wouldn't be able to leave now. Night Sorrow also fell into deep thought. He felt that if he could get rid of Fire Dance and the Fire Dance Corps' Legion commanders like this, it would be considered a good deed. It would also increase the strength of the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance. A few hours later, Fire Dance returned with 2 Legion commanders and a woman. The Fire Dance Corps still needs someone to guard it, so we left a Corps commander behind. Fire Dance said to Night Sorrow. They know about the situation, right? Night Sorrow asked as he looked at the 3 people behind Fire Dance. Fire Dance nodded. She told her confidants everything she knew and what she had discussed with Night Sorrow. Knowing about the existence of the calamity and the way out, Fire Dance's confidants supported her decision. Night Sorrow led the group to the encampment. After instructing Puluo, Lin Piaomiao, and the others to lead the team and not go out to battle for the time being, he entered the teleportation array and left with Fire Dance and her 3 subordinates. When they arrived at the entrance of the spatial tunnel, Night Sorrow saw Huangling, Patriarch Azure Rock, and Long Yixing. These people aren't enemies for now. I'm taking them to do something. After saying that, Night Sorrow led Fire Dance and the others through the teleportation array. They passed through Tianhuang City, teleported to Starmoon City, and then to 9-domain world. That was the Celestial Realm, the current Supreme World. However, it only has a lifespan of 1 era. After 1 era, it will become a secondary Supreme World. As for the world we are currently standing in, it has surpassed the level of a major world, but has yet to reach the level of a Supreme World. In the future, it will become a Supreme World in 100,000 or 1 million years. If you accept the conditions, then you will be the people of this world. Night Sorrow said as he walked out of 9-domain city's teleportation array. Is Milord in charge here? The woman in blue asked. She was Fire Dance's junior sister, Feng Wu, a cultivator of the 2nd Sovereign Tribulation. Yes, I am the Realm Master here. I can prove it to you. Descend. Night Sorrow said after nodding to Feng Wu. Following Night Sorrow's words, the world's source energy descended and directly imprisoned Feng Wu. She could only move her eyes. After Night Sorrow released the restraints on Feng Wu, he smiled at the nervous people. Don't worry, you are guests this time, not enemies. Latest hashtag chapter. Why section A2 thank you, my lord. Fire Dance and the others bowed to Night Sorrow. They felt the aura of the 9-domain world, and also felt the strength of Night Sorrow. At the same time, they also proved the identity of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow did not use his own energy just now and controlled the world's source energy. Come, let's go have some tea and talk. Night Sorrow brought the few of them into the tea house that Chen Chen had opened for him, and brewed a pot of tea. Senior sister, this world is really good. The energy aura is filled with vitality and it's very peaceful. Feng Wu was very excited. After pondering for a while, Fire Dance looked at Night Sorrow. Actually, we don't have to watch Black Spirit supremacy fall. As long as we can obtain the life origin imprint of this world, we can swear to the heavens that we will serve this world in the future. We won't care about the success or failure of this world. That's fine, but I have a suggestion. If you want to develop in a new world, then the fate of the new world is very important. If you can fight for the Celestial Realm's 100 races, and the Celestial Realm, and the 9-domain world. You can obtain the fate of the heavens, which will be beneficial to your future. Of course, the decision is up to you. Night Sorrow smiled. Let's think about this again. Let's go according to the agreement now. Fire Dance said. Night Sorrow communicated with the world origin body, and directly took out 4 life origin imprints and gave them to Fire Dance and the others. Fire Dance and the others also knelt and swore. Marshal Uncle Taishu, arrange a place for them to stay. Fire Dance, we'll set off tonight. You still have to bring your Legion commander over. Night Sorrow said to Taishu Yen, who had rushed over, and then left. After leaving the tea house, Night Sorrow went to the pavilion at the side of the Heaven Sealing Hall. That was Mo Tianji's spatial treasure, Origin Enlightened Treasure Tower. When he arrived in front of Origin Enlightened Treasure Tower, Night Sorrow controlled the energy and shook it slightly. If Mo Tianji was in deep seclusion, it would not affect anything. If it was ordinary comprehension cultivation, Mo Tianji would come out. While Night Sorrow was thinking, Mo Tianji, who had waist-length black hair, and was wearing a white silk dress, appeared with a long sword in her right hand. Your aura is very deep and there's a biting cold battle intent on your body. You just fought not long ago. Mo Tianji said after sizing up Night Sorrow. Chapter 2153. What's going on? I won't get involved with the Demon Wing clan, Mo Tianji said. What are you thinking? I won't ask you about the Demon Wing clan. If it's not the Demon Wing clan, it's a giant from the Calamity realm. You can go and kill it and we'll split the benefits. If you don't go, I'll have to find someone else, Night Sorrow said. That's true. According to the time, the Celestial Realm's apocalypse is about to arrive. I can go, but I don't understand why I have to kill it and we have to split the benefits? Mo Tianji sized up Night Sorrow. Let's be reasonable, right? I'm the one who asked for the job and provided the information. Can't I split half with you? Be content. Night Sorrow glanced at Mo Tianji. Okay, I'll take it and earn some luck for myself. As a person of the 9 domains world, I have to have some awareness. Besides, it's always good to have resources. I also know that you're giving me some opportunities by making this arrangement. Mo Tianji nodded with a smile. She knew that Night Sorrow had other choices. If Night Sorrow asked, the Tianhuang City Lord and King Yawu would take it. You're a smart person. Okay, I'll come to you later. That guy's cultivation is at the 8th Emperor Tribulation. He's not as good as you. If he uses the Calamity Realm's origin to fight, then I also have the world's origin. If he has subordinates to help him, then I also have subordinates. I'll give you a battlefield with your own strength, Night Sorrow said. Ha! You should take half of the benefits. I'll listen to your arrangement. I'll wait for your news. Mo Tianji's body flashed and returned to the Origin Treasure Pavilion. After arranging everything, Yishan felt more at ease. The Fire Dance Core and the Black Iron Core had been dealt with. Now he could directly go to the Spirit Abyss to kill Venerable Black Spirit. Once he dealt with Venerable Black Spirit, the matter of the world of tribulations would be over. Night Sorrow didn't know that not long after he left the Calamity Realm, Lu Qi received the news. He was worried. His avatar and Huang Ling took the teleportation array to the camp of Night Sorrow's subordinates. After asking around, no one knew what was going on with Night Sorrow. The main thing was that Night Sorrow didn't tell anyone. 7th Elder, there shouldn't be a problem. Commander Yi has already killed 2 cultivators from the tribulation of 5 emperors. His strength is already there. The cultivator from the tribulation of 5 emperors can't threaten him. The others are just decorations, Huang Ling said. That's true, but he's young. I'm worried he'll suffer because of his youth. Lu Qi was still worried. He was afraid something would happen to Yishan. If something really happened to Yishang, he wouldn't be able to answer to the city lord, King Yawu, and the Great Elder. Let's just wait here. If something happens, Night Sorrow's main body will react. Huang Ling shook her head at Lu Qi. Lu Qi nodded and didn't say anything else. He had confidence in Night Sorrow. His worry was just a feeling. In the evening, Night Sorrow found Fire Dance. Realm Lord, we can go now. Fire Dance nodded at Night Sorrow. Fire Dance, I'm sorry. The fire dance core is a large core. It will affect the apocalypse, so I can't accept it. Night Sorrow said to Fire Dance. Forever O long live. FaySC 7 little hashtag said. Life in tribulation world belongs to tribulation. They exist because of tribulation. It's already good that you're willing to take us in and give us a chance to survive. Fire understands this. After Fire Dance goes there, she'll only take the Legion commander away. As for the rest, let nature take its course. Fire Dance was a little helpless. She also understood that the number of soldiers and combat power in the Calamity Realm would affect whether the Celestial Realm survived the Apocalypse Calamity or not. Night Sorrow didn't say anything else. In addition, Night Sorrow also understood the core in the Calamity Realm. They hadn't been established for a long time. They were formed to attack the Celestial Realm. He didn't have deep feelings for them. After chatting with Fire Dance for a while, Night Sorrow brought Fire Dance to the Origin Enlightened Treasure Pavilion and called Mo Tianji out. Looking at Mo Tianji, Fire Dance took a step back. Mo Tianji's gaze made her feel pressured. Tianji, her name is Fire Dance. In the future, she will also be a member of the 9 Regions world. Night Sorrow nodded at Mo Tianji. You have the final say. However, in your words, no one is to harm the 9 Regions world. Mo Tianji said. Night Sorrow brought Mo Tianji and Fire Dance to the teleportation array. After a few more teleportations, they arrived at the spatial tunnel where the Calamity Realm was. Seeing Mo Tianji, Heavenly Astral King, Long Yixing, and Old Ancestor Green Rock's expressions changed. They placed their hands on their weapons. Don't worry. She is my friend. I will take her to deal with some matters. If there is pressure here, go to Tianhuang City and inform my main body. I will make some arrangements. Nodding at Long Yixing, Old Ancestor Green Rock, and Heavenly Astral King, Night Sorrow brought Mo Tianji and Fire Dance to the teleportation array and left. Brother Green Rock, what is that woman's cultivation? Long Yixing looked at Old Ancestor Green Rock and asked. 9 Emperor's Tribulation. Her cultivation is even higher than the Grand Elders. Old Ancestor Green Rock's voice was trembling. He was a 5 Emperor's Tribulation. He had a secret technique that could detect cultivators 5 levels higher than him. Therefore, he could detect Mo Tianji's cultivation. Why did such a cultivator suddenly appear? And she is standing behind Night Sorrow? Long Yixing was a little confused. He did not know what was going on. Old Ancestor Green Rock and Heavenly Astral King did not say anything. They also did not know what was going on. After teleporting twice, Night Sorrow stopped. Tianji, your cultivation is too frightening. I really can't bring you out casually in the future. I owe you an explanation again. Is there a need to explain? You don't have to explain to anyone, right? You are one of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, but you are also the Realm Lord of the 9 Regions world. You don't have to care about the matters of the 9 Regions world. Mo Tianji said. That is true. But some people have to be respected. After all, they are all seniors who have fought for the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Mo Tianji did not say anything. She was now following Night Sorrow. She did not want Night Sorrow to lose face and care about others. However, she also understood that Night Sorrow was right. After coming out of the teleportation array, Mo Tianji turned around and looked at Night Sorrow. Call me if you need anything. After saying that, Mo Tianji waved her hand and entered the Origin Enlightened Treasure Tower in a flash. There were some people she did not want to see. Lu Qi was one of them. One should know that she used to be all-powerful. Lu Qi, Pu Luo and the others were all juniors. She naturally did not want to see them now. Yi Shang chuckled. He naturally understood Mo Tianji's mentality and understood her. Lin Yun, come and help me receive Fire Dance. Night Sorrow said to Lin Yun, who was guarding the teleportation array. She was dumbfounded. Then he walked towards the main tent. Lu Qi and the others were standing outside the tent, waiting for him. Night Sorrow came to the tent and invited them in. Chapter 2154. It's not a big deal. I've just finished dealing with some things. It's not convenient for me to tell you before I'm done. After Night Sorrow sat down, He explained the current situation and his arrangements and plans. Understood. But who was that? Lu Qi asked. After Mo Tianji arrived, she disappeared directly. Lu Qi only detected a shadow but did not see it clearly. Night Sorrow lowered his head and pondered. He did not want to talk about Mo Tianji, because it was related to her. Mo Tianji had submitted, but Yi Shang wanted to be friends with Mo Tianji. He didn't want Mo Tianji to lose face. If he told her the whole story, it would be the same as Mo Tianji losing face. You can arrange these things. Ling Huang and I came here, because we were a little worried. There's no problem now. If you need support, send someone to inform us. Lu Qi said. Seeing Night Sorrow hesitate, he understood that some things might not be convenient for Night Sorrow to say. Thank you, Seventh Elder. Night Sorrow can deal with these things. Next, you can arrange for people to guard the space channel. I'll deal with the matters in the world of tribulations. It won't take too long. Night Sorrow said. Lu Qi nodded and left with Huang Ling. They already knew that Night Sorrow had dealt with Lu Xing and Lu Yun, and destroyed the meteor core. When they came, they also guessed that the woman in the fiery red armor might be Huo Wu. They had some guesses in their hearts. After sending Lu Qi and Huang Ling off, Night Sorrow gathered the main members of his troops in the big tent. He also called Huo Wu over and introduced her to everyone. At the same time, he emphasized that Huo Wu would be a member of the Nine Domains world in the future, and could not be discriminated against. Then he talked about some of the following arrangements. Captain, if the Fire Dance Corps has no commander and corps commander, then we have no problem taking them down. Long Jin said. I won't be participating in this war. Pu Luo, you will dispatch the 2 commanders of the Heaven Wasteland Army. Long Jin, you will lead the First Army and the God-Slaying Squad. Fire Dance, you will bring the army commander here. You don't have to participate in this war. It's inconvenient for you to travel back and forth. This is my token. When the army commander under your command arrives at the 9-domain world, I will arrange for the soul imprint. Night Sorrow stood up and made the final arrangements. Night Sorrow had made such arrangements because he was worried about Fire Dance's feelings. In the future, Fire Dance would be a member of the 9 Regions world, and so would the other Legion commanders. Night Sorrow did not want to make things awkward in the future, so he did not plan to take action. In addition, the war with the Fire Dance Corps was already a foregone conclusion. There were many people who could understand Night Sorrow. Pu Luo, Long Jin, and Lin Piaomiao all understood him, so they didn't ask. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow returned to his tent. He would not ask about this matter anymore. If the Fire Dance Corps could not be dealt with smoothly, then the Fire Dance Corps was not destined to die. After the battle deployment was completed, everyone in the encampment left. Fire Dance also left. She was going to bring the other Legion commander. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine, poured a bowl, and drank it in one gulp. He suddenly felt very uncomfortable. He could not stop the massacre from happening, and he was even pushing it forward. He did not want to face such a scene. The curtain of the tent was lifted, and Mo Tianji walked in. She sat down opposite Night Sorrow. You are not in the right mood. Everything has a spirit, and they all have the right to live in this world. However, war has taken away all of this. Night Sorrow drank another mouthful of wine. You are already a cultivator of the 3 sovereigns' tribulation. Only the fittest survive. Don't you understand? Mo Tianji said. I understand, but I feel very sad in my heart. Really sad. Can't you avoid these things? Night Sorrow poured a bowl of wine for Mo Tianji. You shouldn't. What level are you at? If this goes on, your Tao heart will become unstable. You shouldn't be bemoaning the state of the universe and pitying the fate of mankind. Or rather, it shouldn't appear in the current you. Mo Tianji looked at Night Sorrow carefully, and then shook her head. She found that Night Sorrow was very stable. His Tao heart was very stable. This did not make sense. The human heart. Tribulation is the rule, but the cause of war is the human heart. Ending the war is also the human heart's push. A few days ago, I felt that the human heart is the heaven's heart, and the heaven's heart is the Tao heart. When one's Tao heart is strong and one's strength is strong, one can control everything. Strength is merit, but great merit is great Tao. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. I did not expect you to reach this step. Actually, this is what cultivators of the soul as one realm have to do. They have to ask the human heart. Therefore, the soul as one realm is also called the Tao querying realm. Different hearts lead to different Taos, which also determines one's strength. Of course, everyone's comprehension is different, Mo Tianji said. I have thought about it for a few days. I feel that reasoning is very important. Can I tell you why Fire Dance left the war? It is because of reasoning. Night Sorrow looked at Mo Tianji and expressed his opinion. That is also based on the foundation of a strong Tao. Without Tao, you would have been killed the moment you saw Fire Dance. Do you still have the chance to lecture her? Mo Tianji smiled. So, what I said before was right. Reasoning is right. There must be reason. Night Sorrow understood some things. His reasoning was reasonable. You are the Emperor Merit Emperor. You are the virtuous Merit Emperor. Your comprehension is something ordinary people don't have. You look like you kill without hesitation, but you have a heart that bemoans the state of the universe and the fate of mankind. This will make your path even longer. I can give you some advice. You need to have a foundation. Strength is the foundation of reason. If you want to prove your reason, you need to have a big fist. What do you think? Mo Tianji asked Yishang. Yes. Reasoning also needs a foundation. You are an ant. No matter how good your reasoning is, an elephant will not listen. With reasoning in your body, using merit to prove your reasoning is the right path. Listening to your words has brightened my Tao heart. Night Sorrow laughed loudly. Mo Tianji shook her head. She knew that this was the difference between ordinary people and geniuses and monsters. A casual sentence from her could brighten Night Sorrow's Tao heart. No one would believe it if she told others. Chapter D of R, Part C. The Tao heart brighten meant that the Tao heart was eternally firm. It was the state of indestructibility after entering the Tao, understanding the Tao, and understanding the Tao. It was the highest state of the mind. Now Night Sorrow had arrived. Congratulations. Mo Tianji cupped her hands at Night Sorrow. Haha. Thank you. Your words were effective. They gave me enlightenment. Night Sorrow laughed. The enlightenment of his Tao heart made him very happy. I really have to hand it to you. Just one sentence was enough to give you such a deep understanding. Mo Tianji shook her head. She was truly impressed. Night Sorrow's comprehension was too terrifying. He understood just like that. Chapter 2155. You have the final say in everything. Other than the war against the demon-winged clan. I have no problem with you declaring war on any other world. Mo Tianji patted her chest. Update W new Y fastest unspecified currency carat. Mind your image. Night Sorrow turned his head and looked to the side. One's appearance comes from one's heart. You are thinking too much. Mo Tianji smiled. When Jun Xuanji had opened the soul seal and their souls had connected, she had obtained Jun Xuanji's memories and even some of his emotions. Therefore, she understood Night Sorrow and even knew his weakness. Of course, she would not use Night Sorrow's weakness again. Because she understood Night Sorrow, she respected him even more. Wait for the news. When the Fire Dance Corps is done, we'll set off. You just focus on dealing with Supreme Crow, Night Sorrow said. Although I've been at a disadvantage since meeting you, I've only been suppressed by the human Emperor seal before. Supreme Crow is nothing. Mo Tianji looked at Night Sorrow, her face full of confidence. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not underestimate Mo Tianji, because of her defeat and submission. He also knew her strength. The two of them chatted casually, exchanging their views on the development of the 9 regions world, and even some insights on cultivation. What shocked Night Sorrow was that Mo Tianji had a deep understanding of the taboo samsara attribute. He did not understand. After asking, he found out that Mo Tianji was a cultivator of the taboo samsara attribute. Or rather, she had just become a cultivator of the taboo samsara attribute. Mo Tianji was different from Night Sorrow. In the past, she had cultivated the destruction, time, space, life, and death attributes in order to not reduce her lifespan. However, she did not combine them, even when she fought with Yan Wushuang. Now that she had entered the tribulation of 9 emperors and only had one epoch left, she did not have any scruples and successfully combined the samsara attribute. Knight Sara was not proficient in the peerless attribute, while Mo Tianji and the City Lord were not proficient in the space-time attribute. Mo Tianji's space-time element was the same as City Lord Tran Hung. They were both at the Imperial Emperor level. In other words, it was a mid-level forbidden samsara element. Practitioners with immortal potential really are different. But I don't understand why you guys are all bad at the space-time attribute, but when it comes to me, it becomes the limitless attribute that is restricted. Knight Sara sighed. The time attribute is a secondary supreme attribute. The Tao it contains is difficult to comprehend, so it is normal for you to get stuck. As for life and death, they are relatively easier to comprehend. However, it is not exactly easy. The main reason is that cultivators experience more life and death as they grow. Naturally, they will have a deeper understanding of them. You are still young, so you have seen less life and death. Therefore, you will have to rely on your comprehension, Mo Tianji said. She knew Knight Sara's situation better. What you said is true. The accumulation of time is what I lack. Knight Sara nodded. Your ability to fight those above your level is very strong. Ever since you made your debut, you've been progressing smoothly. You haven't experienced many life and death situations. Take it slow. An epoch is a lot for you. It's like 100 billion years. Mo Tianji nodded at Yishang. Half a day later, the battle between Knight Sara's men and the Fire Dance Corps reached the formation area. The Fire Dance Corps' men were led by Pu Luo and Long Jin. There were no more masters in the Fire Dance Corps. After Fire Dance and the other corps commanders left, there were only 2 Tribulation 1 Emperor cultivators left. After they were killed by Pu Luo, the Fire Dance Corps was faced with a massacre. Knight Sara did not participate, and Mo Tianji did not care. She was a Tribulation 9 Emperor cultivator, so she would not interfere easily. In 2 days, the Fire Dance Corps disappeared. Other than the blood on the battlefield, there was nothing to prove that they had once existed. Knight Sara ordered the troops to set off in 3 days. They went straight to the Spirit Abyss. The Spirit Abyss was the core of the Tribulation realm. The 3 corps were mobilized, but there were still some people in the core area. If they wanted to give Mo Tianji a one-on-one environment, they would have to clear out the surrounding area. Mo Tianji did not enter the Origin Enlightened Treasure Pavilion this time. She stayed in Knight Sara's tent and meditated. Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, Lin Piaomiao, and Datura also knew about the situation. They also greeted Mo Tianji. Knight Sara was interacting with Mo Tianji as a friend, so they naturally had to respect her. Besides, they did not have any reason to look down on Mo Tianji. In terms of achievements, Mo Tianji was much higher than them. Knight Sara's 9-domain doppelganger also made arrangements for the corps commander that Fire Dance had brought over. He gave him the Life Origin imprint, and the corps commander also swore a heavenly Tao oath. Knight Sara had Tai Shu Yin arrange for a few people to be stationed in 9-domain city. Their identities were the protectors of 9-domain city. After everything was arranged, Knight Sara led his subordinates forward. The map that Knight Sara and the others had made was very accurate. Knight Sara had confirmed this with Fire Dance. Fire Dance had added some markings on it, marking the location of the Spirit Abyss. In the first few places, the God-slaying team would clear out any cultivators from the Tribulation realm. The Spirit Abyss was in the deepest part of the Tribulation realm. It was relatively far away. This was also one of the reasons why the 3 corps in the Tribulation realm had pulled apart the distance. Knight Sara, can you lure this guy out of the Spirit Abyss? Mo Tianji asked Knight Sara as they advanced. I'll lure him out. He's an 8 Emperor Tribulation expert. If his big move hits me, it'll be fatal. Knight Sara turned his head and glanced at Mo Tianji, who was not far from him. Who are you? You're a human sovereign. It's not difficult for you to fight above your level. Mo Zhantian is a 9 Emperor Tribulation expert. He attacked you with all his strength, but didn't you block it? Last time, you blocked it. This time, you're luring it out. It's easier, Mo Tianji said as she glanced at Knight Sara. Scam. Maybe I'll really die one time. Night Sorrow nodded helplessly. That won't happen. You're carrying my Origin Enlightened Treasure Pavilion. If you're really in danger, I'll appear immediately. I'm thinking this mainly because according to Fire Dance, even she can't enter the spirit abyss. The environment there must be extremely bad. Wu Lingzuan, who's cultivating there, is very familiar with it. He has the geographical advantage inside, so we have to cut off his escape route. Mo Tianji explained why she had such an idea. We'll do as you say. When the time comes, I'll lure him out. When he has no way out, you kill him. Night Sorrow was just chatting casually. He didn't want Wu Lingzuan to run away the most. You have to be careful. To be able to call himself a venerable, he must be very powerful. This venerable is different from the venerable of the vast heaven realm. Normally, only world origins call themselves that. Mo Tianji reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He knew that Mo Tianji was telling the truth. The celestial realm origin bodies and reincarnation origin bodies all called themselves venerables. The closer they got to the spirit abyss, the worse the environment became. Chapter 2156. Pu Luo and the others received their orders and set off with their teams. Yishang planned to clean up the surroundings of the spirit abyss, and then advance toward the core area. As for whether the four teams would encounter powerful experts or not, Yishang was not worried. He could determine their location. He and Mo Tianji had arrived in time to provide support. The team set off. Night Sorrow set up a tent and stood outside, looking at the spirit abyss. The spirit abyss is not small. It has a radius of a few million miles. It will take a long time to clean it up. Besides, it won't decide the outcome of the battle. Let's go in and take a look. Only by killing Wu Lingzuan can we solve the fundamental problem, said Mo Tianji. Okay. If we encounter Wu Lingzuan's subordinates, we'll deal with them first. Night Sorrow nodded. After making the decision, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji flew toward the spirit abyss. Under normal circumstances, the Emperor Tribulation cultivators would sense each other's opportunities very strongly. They could sense each other from a million miles away. However, after entering the spirit abyss, Mo Tianji and Night Sorrow lost this feeling. It was affected by the energy of the spirit abyss. The core area of the tribulation realm is the spirit abyss. The origin of the realm is also in this area. Therefore, some of our opportunities have disappeared. We can only rely on our soul power to investigate. Be careful. Mo Tianji reminded Night Sorrow. Under such circumstances, there was no need for her to enter the Origin Treasure Pavilion immediately. She had lost her opportunity to sense, and so had Wu Lingzuan. What I'm thinking about now is whether Wu Lingzuan can control the origin of this tribulation realm. If he can, then he will find us first. In your words, this is his territory. He has the geographical advantage. Night Sorrow expressed his concern. It's hard to say. Neither of us dares to say that. So let's take our time. Anyway, he can't beat us. If he can't beat us, then we'll pretend to be weak and run out of the spirit abyss. If he dares to chase us, then we'll kill him. If he doesn't chase us, then we'll play with him slowly. You should be good at positional warfare. Are you afraid we can't kill him? Said Mo Tianji. It's rare for a woman to be as domineering as you. We are the ones who are here to kill him. We can always think of a way to kill him. There are always more ways than difficulties. Night Sorrow smiled. Men are rarely as domineering as you. Perhaps this is why Jun Xuanji likes you, Mo Tianji said. Night Sorrow sighed. Originally, he and Jun Xuanji were good friends. It could be said that they were good friends who talked about everything. However, after that incident, Night Sorrow felt that he had a lot of things to do. He was somewhat embarrassed. Don't you plan to marry Jun Xuanji? Mo Tianji asked Night Sorrow. Heavenly concubine, let's not talk about this. Don't you feel awkward? Night Sorrow looked at Mo Tianji and shook his head. Mo Tianji's aura was very similar to Jun Xuanji's, but it was much stronger. Jun Xuanji had obtained the cultivation memories from Mo Tianji's memories, but his aura and aura were different. Mo Tianji had the aura of someone who had been in a high position for many eras. This was a true foundation. Ordinary cultivators, Even the clan leaders of the Divine Beast clans would feel pressured when they saw Mo Tianji. Night Sorrow did not feel pressured because he had good karma and reason. He could hold his head high in the world. Jun Xuanji could not do this. Awkward. You're saying it like it's someone else's business, but it's actually no different from my own. She and I come from the same soul. This is unavoidable. I hope that Jun Xuanji can live well. Actually, I find you quite pleasing to the eye, so I'm just asking. I won't mention this again in the future. Mo Tianji told him some of her feelings. Night Sorrow smiled. Heavenly concubine, do you like the 9 regions world? Mo Tianji nodded. She really liked the 9 regions world. She had once lived in the Heaven Wasteland domain, the Celestial Realm's Heaven Wasteland domain. It was a world where killing happened frequently, and she was very tired. However, the 9 regions world was different. It was an extremely peaceful world. When Mo Tianji saw people she did not know on the streets, she would smile and nod. Being kind to others was a quality of the 9 regions world's cultivators. This also let Mo Tianji know that although the 9 regions world had not existed for long, its level of education was already very high, especially in the area of virtue. The cultivators of the 9 regions world all paid attention to their own virtue. Wainuji, chapter. I previous I you like it. That's fine. In the future, you can choose a territory you like. I'll give it to you. You can build a dojo or find someone you like to live in seclusion. In short, you can live however you want, Night Sorrow said with a smile. This is the last era of the celestial realm. It's also the era with the cruelest wars. However, to me it's the era with the greatest change in my life. I'm really grateful to you. I also apologize for the harm I've caused you in the past. Mo Tianji cupped her hands towards Night Sorrow. Haha. This time you're sincere. However, there's no need for that. In the past, our positions were different. No one has the right to blame you, and no one will blame you. When the war is over, you can go back and arrange your own things. Night Sorrow reached out and held Mo Tianji's arm. There's only one era. I'll live seriously and experience the happiness of an ordinary person. Mo Tianji sighed. After seeing the lives of the people of the 9 regions world, Mo Tianji felt that her life in the past was indeed too hard. Night Sorrow shook his head. He suddenly felt a bit pressured because many people's fates were tied to his. In the words of the Origin Universe Senior of the Celestial Realm, passing the God-destroying tribulation would give one the ability to control the heavens and the cycle of reincarnation. One could change some things. That way, cultivators like the City Lord of Tianhuang and King Yawu who only had 1 era left would not die. However, passing the God-destroying tribulation was extremely difficult. There were 1,000 reincarnations in Tianhuang, and 1,000 in the Celestial Realm. After 2,000 reincarnations, no one had passed the God-destroying tribulation. Night Sorrow was confident in himself, but he knew how difficult it was. Seeing Night Sorrow pondering, Mo Tianji did not say anything. She wrapped Night Sorrow in her protective domain and continued to move deeper into the spirit abyss. The tribulation world was the tribulation of the celestial realm. It was a very high-level tribulation. The spirit abyss was a special area. It was an underground sinkhole that constantly spewed out energy. The energy was the highest level of reincarnation energy, which was a forbidden attribute. This was also the reason why Huowu, a cultivator of the 5 Emperors' tribulation, could not get close. Night Sorrow, the energy here is so overbearing. If you don't control the origin of the world, it will be difficult to stay here. That bastard Wu Lingzuan most likely controlled the origin of the world. At the very least he's communicating with the origin of the world. Mo Tianji cursed. In this situation, Tianji, you have to hide. He has the help of the origin of the world, and can discover your existence. Then we will be in a passive position, Night Sorrow said. Mo Tianji nodded and handed the Origin Treasure Pavilion to Night Sorrow. Safety first. Now, we need a strategy because I have not cultivated to the level of soul unification. If things don't work out, you can retreat. Wait until I reach soul unification and deal with him. He won't be able to run. 50 years is nothing. Chapter 2157. Night Sorrow pinned the Origin Enlightened Treasure Pagoda to his waist. Mo Tianji nodded at Night Sorrow before entering the Origin Enlightened Treasure Pagoda in a flash. TT unspecified currency forever and forever, free of charge, reading novels without Mo Tianji's precept domain blocking it. Ling Yuan's samsara taboo energy that was invading outside rushed towards Night Sorrow's body. Night Sorrow did not use his precept domain. Instead, he used the virtuous immortal body. As he used the virtuous immortal body, glowing runes appeared around him. Robe. Night Sorrow put on the virtuous robe and blocked the samsara taboo energy that was invading his body. After familiarizing himself with the situation, Night Sorrow used the leakless true body to control the leakage of his energy aura and continued forward. Inside the Origin Enlightened Treasure Pagoda, Mo Tianji, who was using her soul power to investigate the situation outside, narrowed her eyes. She was shocked. Night Sorrow's situation surprised her. Night Sorrow did not use his true chi energy. Just the energy contained in his body was able to block the invasion of the samsara taboo energy. No one had ever achieved such an achievement in body cultivation before. Her body's strength had only started to have Tao rhymes after entering the tribulation of the 7 emperors. At that time, her strength was not as abnormal as Night Sorrow's. In other words, in terms of body strength, her tribulation of the 9 emperors' cultivation base and countless true chi energy baptisms were only comparable to Night Sorrow's current strength. Another point was Night Sorrow's use and control of energy. Ordinary cultivators could not control their energy perfectly without leakage. However, Night Sorrow had done it. There was no energy circulating outside the virtuous robe. Not only would it be difficult for the opponent to detect it, but the loss of energy during battle would also be minimal. It would accumulate a great advantage. Mo Tianji smiled. She was sincerely convinced. Mo Tianji was convinced that she had lost to Night Sorrow. She had no complaints. She realized that she was inferior to Night Sorrow in all aspects. Now, she was stronger than Night Sorrow because she had accumulated a lot of experience. In other aspects, she could not compare to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow strode forward with the Bloodcurrent Evil Vanquishing Spear on his back. With the virtuous robe protecting him, the Spirit Abyss energy was like a soldier meeting a king, avoiding him. As they advanced, Night Sorrow pushed his soul power to the maximum, constantly probing. If he could discover Sovereign Crow Spirit first, he would have the upper hand. While Night Sorrow was moving forward, Mo Tianji's soul power reached Night Sorrow's godly sea. She communicated with Night Sorrow and asked him for advice on how to cultivate without leaking his aura. Night Sorrow talked to Mo Tianji. If they could kill Black Spirit Supremacy, she would give him the cultivation method for the leakless true body. Hearing this, Mo Tianji was surprised. Cultivators place great importance on inheritances and absolute arts. She was not prepared for Night Sorrow to teach her just like that. I can teach it to you, but you can only cultivate it yourself. You can't teach it to anyone else because it's not something I researched myself. It's the Ice Dragon clans. If I teach it to you, I'll have to put down my old face and tell them. Yishang communicated with Mo Tianji through his soul power. This is a big favor. I will accept it. In the future, I will do whatever Night Sorrow says. This time, I will not take half. All the resources will be yours, said Mo Tianji. Tianji, if you are using resources to measure these things, I am very disappointed. I am not asking for anything in return by teaching you this cultivation method. I am not asking for anything in return, nor am I trying to negotiate with you. It is because of our friendship and because you are my friend. Night Sorrow transmitted his thoughts to Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji was silent for a while before apologizing to Night Sorrow. She also explained that she was not looking down on Night Sorrow, nor was she trying to blaspheme his friendship. She just did not know how to repay him. Night Sorrow told Mo Tianji that he and his brothers, sisters, and friends did not ask for anything in return. They would not be stingy if they could help each other. Smiling, Mo Tianji told Night Sorrow that she would change her thoughts and attitude in the future. After saying that, Mo Tianji was stunned. She had never thought that there would be a day when she would say that she would try to change her thoughts and attitude to someone else. Furthermore, she was willing to say it. Night Sorrow knew that Imo Tianji had really changed. He was very happy. While moving forward, Night Sorrow used his soul power to check the situation. After entering the spirit abyss, Night Sorrow did not find any life forms. Not to mention cultivators, there was not even an ordinary life form. Night Sorrow also understood that ordinary life forms would not be able to survive in such a special area. Even Huo Wu, a fifth Emperor Tribulation cultivator, would not be able to come here, let alone other life forms. Suddenly, Yi Shang stopped in his tracks and pondered. It was Pu Luo's original body, who found Yi Shang's original body, who was cultivating in the heavenly desolate city. He told Yi Shang that the people he led had found a palace. They hadn't attacked yet, and the other side hadn't found anything. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that there was still time. He did not need to go there himself, so he found Lu Qi's true body. Then he found Blood Qilin King, who was also in Tianhuang City, and told them to go there. This way, he could continue to go deeper into the spirit abyss without having to retreat. Night Sorrow also told Pu Luo that if Wu Lingzuan was in the palace or if he went to help, he should crush his soul crystal immediately. Pu Luo nodded. Night Sorrow, I've troubled you. I will go into seclusion later to improve my strength. I can't let you take care of everything. We are brothers. You don't have to be so polite. The city lord and the great elder are not here. My original body is guarding the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda, so I won't go. Yi Shang communicated with Pu Luo. After his true body took care of things, Night Sorrow told Imo Tianji about the situation. Heavenly concubine, this world is a tribulation world. The biggest difference between them and us is that they do not have avatars. I confirmed this with Huo Wu and the others, so their information transmission is more limited. Then let's continue forward. If Venerable Wu Lingzuan is in the spirit abyss, he won't know that his base has been attacked. Even if he knows, we can go there at full speed. We can go there in time to help. Although Lu Qi is a little weak, he's not useless, said Imo Tianji. Heavenly concubine, don't be so discouraging. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. To be honest, among the 100 clans of the Heaven Realm, there are only a few people who are not trash in my eyes. The Lord of Heavenly Desolate City and King Yawu are indeed rich people. While improving their cultivation, their combat ability is indeed strong. Your master Yin Wushuang is the same as them. Her cultivation is a little lower, but her combat ability is good. Later, she obtained the Human Emperor's seal. Her combat ability was the best during that time. The Grand Elder is a little weaker. Before your master obtained the Human Emperor's seal, the Demon Wing clan had the strength to attack the Tianhuang city. In order to be more confident, I had been holding back. In the end, your master obtained the Human Emperor's seal, and the situation was reversed. Later on you should know that Lu Qi is a rising star, and Pu Luo is even younger. It was not their era. Imo Tianji told Night Sorrow her evaluation of the experts of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Perhaps you are right. However, it is not easy. We should give them some respect. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2158. Tianji, you're already very powerful to be able to reach this level. I'm very impressed, Night Sorrow said. I'm quite satisfied with myself. But looking back, I feel that sometimes I didn't do my best. If the 3 great heavens of the Demon Wing clan had given up on their lifespan and directly tried to break through, the 100 races of the celestial realm wouldn't have been able to hold on. Imo Tianji talked about her past shortcomings. Everyone has different values. I feel that as long as you do your best, it's enough. After you've done your best, every time you look back, there's no regret, only pride. Night Sorrow expressed his feelings. Imo Tianji didn't say anything else. She was afraid that she would be affected because she had never been able to achieve Night Sorrow's resolve. As they moved forward, Night Sorrow felt the pressure increase. Fortunately, the Merit Immortal body could withstand it. After moving forward for 1,000,000 miles, Night Sorrow stopped and adjusted his direction. Imo Tianji asked. Night Sorrow told her that the world origin in his divine sea had sensed it. Are you stupid? If the world origin in your body sensed it, then the world origin of Calamity's world origin will naturally sense it too. If Black Spirit Supremacy controls or communicates with the world origin of Calamity's world origin, he'll definitely know and kill his way over. You don't need to go deep at all. Emotianji stopped Night Sorrow. You're the stupid one. I have the world origin of a supreme world. How can it be compared to the world origin of Calamity's world origin? I can find it, but it can't find me. Do you understand? Night Sorrow was called stupid. He was very conflicted because almost no one talked to him like that. I said you're stupid, but you still don't admit it. Don't you know how to activate the world origin? That way, it'll be much easier to lure it out. You'll also run a shorter distance outside. Are you going to be hot-headed and send people to it? Emotianji retorted Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow stopped in his tracks. He felt that Emotianji was right. He could release his aura and let the origin of Tribulation Realm sense it. Then Tribulation Realm would notify Black Spirit Sovereign. All he had to do was wait here. Finding it feasible, Night Sorrow used his soul power to stimulate the 9 regions' origin beads, releasing the aura of world essence. Next, he released his soul power as much as he could to investigate. Night Sorrow, you don't need to release your soul force. I'll do it. Emotianji released her soul power. Her soul power was much stronger than Night Sorrow's, so she didn't need Night Sorrow's soul power to check. After 15 minutes, Emotianji communicated with Night Sorrow with her soul power. Run! There are experts in the southeast. They are very fast. Night Sorrow turned and flew at full speed. This was Paragon Black Spirit's territory, and he wanted to leave. Quick! Can you go any faster? He is twice as fast as you. It won't take long for him to catch up. Emotianji urged Night Sorrow. She was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Space Rend. Using the void steps, Night Sorrow increased his speed. He is much faster than you. According to my estimation, he will catch up to you 200,000 miles away from the periphery of Spirit Abyss. Emotianji gave her estimate. Night Sorrow was shocked. He knew that this was Paragon Black Spirit's territory, but he didn't expect Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign to be so fast. However, there was nothing he could do. This was his fastest speed. Maintaining his speed, Night Sorrow rushed out of Spirit Abyss. Emotianji reminded Night Sorrow of the distance. When he was 400,000 miles away from the periphery of Spirit Abyss, Night Sorrow found Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign. He was a man wearing a black robe with runes. His body was filled with a ferocious aura, and there was a special mark on his forehead. It was a golden red mark. He was really fast. Night Sorrow could only maintain this speed. There was nothing he could do about it. He was good at agility, but moving in a straight line was different. He couldn't compare to someone with a higher cultivation. Night Sorrow, if he catches up, I will carry you and fly, Emotianji said. She was very worried now because she realized that Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign's cultivation was at the peak of the 8 Emperor Tribulation. The difference between Night Sorrow and Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign was too great. No, if you show up in advance, we won't be able to stop him if he wants to run. He controls the world's origin, and Spirit Abyss is his territory. My world's origin can't resist his world's origin, so we must lure him out. If we don't leave Spirit Abyss, don't do anything. Luring him out is my mission. Night Sorrow expressed his insistence. Emotianji didn't say anything. She had her own considerations. She was afraid that something would happen to Night Sorrow. In addition, Emotianji was sure that she couldn't defeat Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign in the Spirit Abyss. Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign didn't just have a precept domain to protect his speed. He also had the world's origin surrounding him. In other words, he was the realm master of this tribulation world. As they chased, Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign and Night Sorrow got closer and closer. You have the world's origin. No matter which world you are from, you will die here today and become nourishment for Spirit Abyss and the world's origin. Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign roared as he chased. Night Sorrow didn't say anything and continued to fly. Emotianji's estimation was right. They were still close to 200,000 miles before they could leave Spirit Abyss. This 200,000 miles was his mission. When Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign got closer to Night Sorrow and was in attack range, He waved his battle blade and slashed at Night Sorrow's back. Night Sorrow used void steps and flew out diagonally, dodging Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign's slash, and continuing to fly. More V1 new high fastest peon, Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign's speed slowed down a little after one slash. He caught up and continued to slash. Void steps, afterimage body. Night Sorrow used the two movement techniques alternately, dodging Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign's slash, and continuing to fly. He had no intention of counterattacking. The difference between the two of them was too great. He was too fragile in front of Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign. His life would be gone. Mo Tianji was very worried. But she also knew that if she went out now, Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign would see that his cultivation was inferior to hers. Even if he didn't run, he wouldn't leave Spirit Abyss. The assassination plan would fail. Under Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign's attacks, she got closer and closer to Night Sorrow. The damage of her attacks became greater and more violent. Suppress. Venerate Crow Spirit's Dao Domain enveloped Yi Chang when he saw how nimble Yi Chang's movements were. Merit Primordial Dao Domain. Seeing Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign use Dao Domain to suppress him, Night Sorrow switched his Dao Domain to the Merit Primordial Dao Domain. The Reincarnation Dao Domain was good at suppressing and supporting attacks, while the Primordial Dao Domain was good at melting defense. The suppression was ineffective. It wasn't exactly ineffective, but the effect wasn't ideal. This surprised Paragon Black Spirit Sovereign. He didn't expect that his Dao Domain at 80% of its strength wouldn't be enough to suppress Night Sorrow. After all, there was a 50% difference. Chapter 2159. Origin Force Suppression. Night Sorrow, who was being suppressed, activated the 9-domain Origin Pearl, and released the world's Origin Force to counter Black Spirit Supremacy's Origin Force suppression. Black Spirit Supremacy was stunned. He knew that Night Sorrow had Origin Force, but he didn't expect Night Sorrow to be able to control such a strong Origin Force to resist the suppression. This was the Tribulation Realm's home ground, and the Spirit Abyss's Origin Force suppression was very strong. Night Sorrow also didn't know that if the 9-domain world's level wasn't higher than the Great World's, and the world's Origin Force wasn't strong, he would be suppressed. After all, the Tribulation Realm's level wasn't low either. Run. Night Sorrow didn't care about anything else. As long as there was a chance to run, he wouldn't let it go. He was now very close to the Spirit Abyss, less than 60,000 miles away. As long as he made it out of this distance, it would be Mo Tianji's turn. With the virtuous Origin Domain, and the support of the Origin Force, Night Sorrow used the two movement techniques and the space-time realm at the same time to continuously charge out of the Spirit Abyss. Black Spirit Supremacy was very angry. His battle blade continuously slashed at Night Sorrow. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow needed to use the space-time realm. Black Spirit Supremacy's blade aura was too dense. If he was hit, he would lose his life. Night Sorrow wasn't suppressed. His speed was the same as before. He had his movement techniques and defensive techniques to block Black Spirit Supremacy's blade aura. Although he was in danger, he wasn't hit yet. He was like a small boat in the sea that could be swallowed at any time. Mo Tianji, whose soul strength had been locked onto the outside, was waiting to attack. Her heart was in her throat. She was very nervous because a single mistake from Yi Shang would be fatal. This made her admire Yi Shang's courage. Ordinary people wouldn't do this, let alone Night Sorrow, who had reached the level where he could succeed as long as he pursued stability. Night Sorrow did not turn back. Instead, he quickly rushed towards the periphery of the Spirit Abyss. He knew that Mo Tianji's attack would only be effective outside the Spirit Abyss. In the Spirit Abyss, Supremacy Crow Spirit's control of the World Origin's power was too powerful. He used the World Origin's power to protect his body, but it only prevented him from being suppressed. The other areas around him were suppressed and enveloped by the World Origin's power. In this situation, it was useless for Mo Tianji to attack. If Black Spirit Sovereign controlled the energy in the Spirit Abyss and the World Origin Force to protect himself, then it would be almost impossible for Mo Tianji to defeat Black Spirit Sovereign. The resolute Night Sorrow continuously used Spatial Ren to open up a path ahead. Then he used afterimage body to confuse venerable crow spirit. In times of crisis, he used space-time realm to dodge the attack. Mo Tianji had always been cheering for Night Sorrow. She had encountered many dangers, but she had never encountered a situation like this. Night Sorrow was risking his life for a chance to kill Black Spirit Sovereign. Because the suppression was ineffective, and Night Sorrow's movement technique and defense were heaven-defying, Black Spirit Sovereign's attacks all missed. Night Sorrow was getting closer and closer to the periphery of the spirit abyss. Tianji, don't be in a hurry to attack. My situation will be better after I leave the spirit abyss. He won't be able to kill me. I'll run further away, then you can come out and kill him. You must avenge me. Night Sorrow communicated with Mo Tianji through his soul power. Be careful. Mo Tianji held her sword in her right hand and kept an eye on the situation. She knew that the most dangerous path for Night Sorrow was to leave the spirit abyss. After leaving the spirit abyss, Black Spirit Sovereign's suppression of the spirit abyss would weaken, and Night Sorrow would be able to run more comfortably. After communicating with Mo Tianji, Night Sorrow shouted at Black Spirit Sovereign, who was swinging his blade. You want to seize the world origins? You're not qualified. Don't be fooled by your jumping. You've already exhausted 30% of your energy. How much longer can you run? I'll cut you into pieces. Black Spirit Sovereign had been observing Night Sorrow's situation and could see that Night Sorrow was exhausted. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He had angered Black Spirit Sovereign and made it so that he wouldn't give up the chase. His goal had been achieved. A moment later, Night Sorrow rushed out of the spirit abyss. Easy. Night Sorrow felt a lot more relaxed. Inside the spirit abyss, the suppression of the spirit abyss's energy was not to be underestimated. Black Spirit Sovereign carried the world origins and controlled the spirit abyss's energy. After leaving the spirit abyss, Night Sorrow used spatial rend and tore through space to enter the turbulent space. He flew through the turbulent space with Black Spirit Sovereign following closely behind, still swinging his blade. Night Sorrow tore through space and returned to the real world. He used spatial barrier to cancel out the power and accuracy of Black Spirit Sovereign's blade. He was really baiting Black Spirit Sovereign, as if he was running for his life. This kind of bait was realistic. Keep jumping. The Black Spirit Supremacy was very angry. Night Sorrow should have been an ant that he could casually crush before him. Yet he had been jumping around for a while now. Night Sorrow shuttled back and forth between the Tribulation Realm and the turbulent space. Black Spirit Sovereign chased into the turbulent space while Night Sorrow entered the Tribulation Realm. Once Black Spirit Sovereign returned, he would enter. This consumed a lot of energy, but Night Sorrow wasn't afraid because Mo Tianji would be able to make her move soon. After leaving the spirit abyss, Night Sorrow's speed increased. In a few breaths of time, he had traveled tens of thousands of miles. After Night Sorrow entered the turbulent space again, Mo Tianji appeared. The time had come, and they were still some distance away from the spirit abyss. Black Spirit Sovereign was no longer able to use the spirit abyss's energy. Tribulation Realm of the 9 Emperors. You tricked this sovereign. Looking at Mo Tianji between him and Night Sorrow, Black Spirit Sovereign understood everything. This was a trap to trick him. Catch! Night Sorrow flashed into the Clear Sky Pagoda. Then the Clear Sky Pagoda flew into Mo Tianji's hand. Looking at the Clear Sky Pagoda in her hand, Mo Tianji hesitated for a moment. Then, she put the Clear Sky Pagoda in her lapel. She was wearing a loose silk dress without a belt, so she couldn't wear it like Night Sorrow. After putting away the Clear Sky Pagoda, Mo Tianji looked at Black Spirit Sovereign. Black Spirit Sovereign, are you having fun chasing me? He wants to vent his anger, so you are dead. Shameless boasting. This is the Tribulation Realm, my Black Spirit world. Here, I am the ruler. Your Tribulation Realm of 9 Emperors cultivation is useless. Black Spirit Sovereign protected himself with his Dao domain. Then he charged at Mo Tianji with the world's origin energy. Mo Tianji used her reincarnation, Dao domain to protect herself. At the same time, she discovered that her Dao domain was filled with the 9 domains world's origin energy. This origin energy suppressed Black Spirit Sovereign's origin energy. After the battle began, Black Spirit Sovereign was suppressed by Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji's cultivation was not only high, but she was also the leader of the three grand heavens of the demon-winged clan. Her combat ability was strong. Sword Chi surrounded Black Spirit Sovereign and cut him up. Black Spirit Sovereign's expression changed. His Dao domain was suppressed. His Dao domain was not a forbidden attribute, so its level was not high enough. In addition, this was the turbulent space. He could not use the world's origin energy much. This was also the reason why Mo Tianji attacked in the turbulent space. She wanted to use the environment to limit Black Spirit Sovereign. Chapter 2160. If it had been a normal relationship, it would have been inappropriate for him to help in a one-on-one duel, as it would have hurt his reputation. However, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji did not need his help. If he had too many concerns, he would be hypocritical. Let's work together to kill him. Mo Tianji responded to Night Sorrow. She also treated Night Sorrow as a teammate. Her precept domain did not restrict Night Sorrow's energy and soul power. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow could smoothly integrate the world origin power into her precept domain. Today is the first time we've worked together. We must win. Night Sorrow controlled the Soul Annihilation Slash, ignoring Black Spirit Supremacy's protective precept domain, and slashing at him. Night Sorrow could not compete with true energy, but his soul power was not afraid of true energy defense. Most are. New W? Chapter 1 Wu Upper PCing Night Sorrow's soul attack, Black Spirit Supremacy cursed. A gray energy halo appeared around his body for defense. It was the World Origin Pearl's defense. Night Sorrow could control the 9-region Origin Pearl to defend the Divine Sea, but so could Black Spirit Supremacy. As Night Sorrow's Soul Annihilation Slash landed on Black Spirit Supremacy's protective energy halo, the collision of the soul power caused the halo to ripple in all directions. Black Spirit Supremacy's attack also paused for a moment. In addition, his control of the world origin power weakened significantly. This was the effect of the Soul Annihilation Slash's negative attack. Black Spirit Supremacy had blocked the Soul Annihilation Slash's direct attack, but he could not defend against the negative attack. He could no longer control the world origin power to fight Mo Tianji. Without the support of the world origin power, Black Spirit Supremacy was flustered. Even with the world origin power, he was still suppressed by Mo Tianji. Now that he did not have the world origin power to support his precept domain, he was even worse off. Well done. Mo Tianji praised Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's attack had weakened Black Spirit Supremacy by 30%. Her taboo reincarnation precept domain had completely suppressed Black Spirit Supremacy. Continue. After Night Sorrow replied with these 3 words, he controlled the Soul Extinguishing Slash to continuously attack Zunwu Lingzuan's spiritual sea. He knew that he couldn't break through Zunwu Lingzuan's spiritual defense, but he could interfere and weaken Zunwu Lingzuan's combat strength. Feeling that the power was not enough, Night Sorrow activated the 9 regions origin beads and infused origin power into the crescent blade of the Soul Annihilation Slash, increasing its power. Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash with his origin power made Zun Crow's origin power unable to affect the battlefield. It could only defend against Night Sorrow's attacks. Under such circumstances, Black Spirit Zun, who was weaker than Mo Tianji, was in an even worse situation. His body had already been struck by Mo Tianji's sword chi. His movement speed and attack power had already been affected. At the high-level Emperor Tribulation realm, it was impossible for the 2 sides to finish the battle in 1 or 2 moves. Both of their bodies were immortal and indestructible. Both of them had to constantly attack each other. The stacking of damage would continuously destroy the insides of their bodies. Now, Mo Tianji's sword chi had already begun to stack on Zunwu Lingzuan. Zunwu Lingzuan waved his saber, but his attacks were not effective. Mo Tianji's domain was too suppressive. His saber aura was suppressed by Mo Tianji's domain, causing its attack power and speed to decrease. Zunwu Lingzuan waved his saber and slashed open the spatial barrier. He wanted to leave because if this continued, he would lose. Zunwu Lingzuan wanted to run, but Mo Tianji naturally did not want to. Inside the spatial turbulence, Zun Wu Lingzuan's world origin power was the least effective. Mo Tianji's body flashed and appeared between Zun Wu Lingzuan and the spatial crack. She then waved her sword and attacked. With the domain's suppression and Night Sorrow's soul-extinguishing slash, Zun Wu Lingzuan's speed was too slow compared to Mo Tianji's. Therefore, he was intercepted. Not only did he not manage to escape, but he was also hit by Mo Tianji's sword. What a pair of dogs! Being affected by Night Sorrow and being hit by Mo Tianji's sword chi, Zun Wu Lingzuan started cursing. The situation was not looking good for him. Trash. This is war. It's your own fault for being stupid. It's your own fault for being inferior. After being scolded, Mo Tianji was very angry. In the past, no one had dared to scold her. After being attacked by Mo Tianji's sword chi, the forbidden samsara energy entered his body and destroyed it. Zun Wu Lingzuan's battle power was getting weaker and weaker. The main reason was that he could not suppress Mo Tianji's sword chi's destruction of his body. Night Sorrow controlled the soul-extinguishing slash, and continuously slashed at Zun Wu Lingzuan's soul defense. He wanted to disturb Zun Wu Lingzuan, so that he could not focus on Mo Tianji. Zun Wu Lingzuan kept roaring. At this moment, he hated Night Sorrow the most. It was Night Sorrow who had lured him out. It was also Night Sorrow's soul attack that made him unable to focus on Mo Tianji's attacks. After being hit by another sword chi, gray flames appeared on Zun Wu Lingzuan's body. He slashed out a few times in all directions, and then rushed towards a spatial crack. At this moment he was extremely fast. Mo Tianji could not stop him in time. She could only send out a sword chi that pierced through Zun Wu Lingzuan's body. The heavily injured Zun Wu Lingzuan returned to Tribulation Realm. Just as Zun Wu Lingzuan suppressed his injuries and was about to leave, Mo Tianji also arrived in Tribulation Realm. Her precept domain once again wrapped around Zun Wu Lingzuan. However, the suppression was not strong. Zun Wu Lingzuan felt that the situation was not good. He had already burned his true chi to increase his battle power. Zun Wu Lingzuan, who had withstood the suppression, fought while moving towards Spirit Abyss. This bastard is running away regardless of the cost. Mo Tianji was anxious. She could kill Zun Wu Lingzuan, but she could not stop him from escaping. Virtuous Reincarnation Precept Domain. Night Sorrow appeared from the Clear Sky Pagoda and released his Virtuous Taboo Reincarnation Domain. It overlapped with Mo Tianji's Reincarnation Domain to suppress Zun Wu Lingzuan. Normally speaking, the power of two precept domains could not be overlapped. Night Sorrow's precept domain was not suppressed by Mo Tianji's precept domain, because she did not guard against Night Sorrow. In addition, their precept domains were of the same origin, and the virtuous golden light was very inclusive. Thus they formed a combination. Zun Wu Lingzuan staggered and was suppressed again. This time the suppression was even stronger. This was because Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji had both used their accumulation and foundation. Let's see if you can run again and talk nonsense again. Who are you? Sword chi slash. Mo Tianji grabbed Night Sorrow's shoulder with her left hand and made Night Sorrow move with her. At the same time, she cursed and swung her sword. Night Sorrow's original speed could not keep up with Mo Tianji's. Now that Mo Tianji was carrying him, not only could he keep up, but he was also not in any danger. Being carried by Mo Tianji, Night Sorrow's soul slash continued to attack Zun Wu Lingzuan's soul defense. Why aren't you cursing anymore? Aren't you going to escape with your soul? Mo Tianji swung her sword and attacked with her words. She had communicated with Night Sorrow. As long as Zun Wu Lingzuan escaped, Night Sorrow would use the virtuous fire to trap him. Then he would deal with the Calamity Realm's origin while she would deal with Zun Wu Lingzuan, who was controlled by the soul fire. Zun Wu Lingzuan also knew that the situation was not good. He was still more than 30,000 miles away from the Spirit Abyss. Normally he could cross it in an instant. But now it was the distance between life and death. Mo Tianji and Night Sorrow would not let him go back so easily. The two of them had devised such a meticulous plan and strategy to kill him. Chapter 2161. Wu Lingzuan continued to resist. After all, he was an 8th Emperor Tribulation cultivator. Even if he was heavily injured, he wouldn't fall down so easily. Mo Tianji was standing between Wu Lingzuan and Ling Yuan. She kept pressuring Wu Lingzuan. Even if Wu Lingzuan dodged the attacks, he would only get further and further away from Ling Yuan. #MF Yong Wujiu. Free Watch 7C Talk. After being hit a few more times, Wu Lingzuan felt that he couldn't take it anymore. If this continued, he would definitely die. His soul leaving his body was the only way out. With a loud roar, Wu Lingzuan's body began to expand. He was going to self-destruct to cover the escape of his soul. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. Soul chain." Mo Tianji's forehead glowed. Then, a few cyan chains shot out and lashed Wu Lingzuan's body, interrupting his self-destruction. As a 9th Emperor Tribulation cultivator, how could Mo Tianji not have a soul attack? She hadn't used it because she wanted to restrict Wu Lingzuan's strange moves. Bastard. Wu Lingzuan didn't know how to describe his anger. Night Sorrow's domain and soul attack assisted Mo Tianji's battle, greatly reducing his combat power. Mo Tianji's cultivation was higher than his, and her attributes were more overbearing. Therefore, he was far from being her match. Now he couldn't even self-destruct. Even if he couldn't self-destruct, Wu Lingzuan couldn't wait for death. He was a straightforward person. He gave up his body and his soul left his body to run. Virtuous fire bind. The power of merit within Night Sorrow's merit Dao domain turned into flames, which flew out and trapped Sovereign Crow Spirit's soul. Then, the human Emperor's seal appeared in the air and suppressed Sovereign Crow Spirit's soul. Mo Tianji slashed with her longsword. Sword chi vibrated inside the virtuous fire, and attacked Wu Lingzuan's soul. At the same time, Wu Lingzuan's body was put away. This way Wu Lingzuan couldn't go back even if he wanted to. Wu Lingzuan kept roaring. He didn't expect his soul to be restricted and suppressed when it left his body. This shouldn't have happened. It was almost impossible to restrict the soul of a high-level Imperial Tribulation cultivator. Yan Wushuang and Mo Tianji used to be like this. Once her soul left her body, her opponent couldn't control it. Now Wu Lingzuan's soul was being controlled because of many factors. Origin blessing. Sovereign Wu Lingzuan roared. He wanted to return to the spirit abyss alive and never come out again. But what shocked Venerable Black Spirit was that the Tribulation World's origin bead didn't care about him anymore. It left his soul and flew away. The moment the Tribulation origin bead left Crow Spirit's sovereign soul body, Night Sorrow reacted. The 9 regions origin bead left his body, and at the same time, his soul power and virtue power supported the 9 regions origin bead to suppress the Tribulation origin bead. Then he rushed towards the Tribulation origin bead. "Leave your virtuous fire behind. Don't worry about anything else." Mo Tianji shouted at Yi Shang, who was leaving her. After controlling the 9 realm origin beads, and the power of good karma to suppress the origin bead of the Tribulation realm, Night Sorrow used the Samsara Nirvana Palm and the destructive True Dragon incantation in succession. He knew that he didn't have many chances. Once the origin bead gained sentience, it would be very powerful in its own world. It had just left its master, and it was currently in its most uncomfortable period. If he couldn't suppress it during this period, it would run back to the spirit abyss. Under the suppression of the 9 regions origin bead, the Tribulation World's origin bead's movement was suppressed. Next, Yishang's Samsara Nirvana palm slapped it so hard that it could no longer fly. It nearly fell to the ground. At the same time, Yishang's destructive True Dragon formula struck its body. When the Tribulation origin bead's intelligence was unstable, Night Sorrow reached out with his left hand and grabbed the Tribulation origin bead. Sacred Scripture Blessing. Night Sorrow roared. The golden characters of the sacred scripture of human Tao appeared on his left hand and tightly wrapped around the Tribulation origin bead. The Tribulation origin bead kept shaking, but it couldn't break free. Night Sorrow's fire of virtue trapped the Black Spirit Sovereign's soul and burned it. The Black Spirit Sovereign's soul fled with the fire of virtue, but it couldn't escape the range of the human Emperor's seal. Its struggle grew weaker and weaker. Mo Tianji's attacks never stopped. Sword chi and soul chains bombarded it, constantly wearing down its soul power. Yi Shang looked at the Tribulation World origin bead in his left hand, which was trembling but unable to escape his control. He put the 9-region origin bead back into his divine sea. Then he used his origin power to suppress the Tribulation World origin bead. Unable to escape, the Black Spirit Sovereign of the Tribulation of 8 Emperors dissipated after taking more than 70 strikes from Mo Tianji. Damn. Were you the one who killed the last one? What a loss. Mo Tianji said to Night Sorrow after collecting the storage ring dropped by the Black Spirit Sovereign's soul flame. My fire of virtue burned continuously without any gaps. Your sword chi had gaps, so the last one to destroy his soul was mine. Night Sorrow smiled. At Mo Tianji and Night Sorrow's level, they were very sensitive to the Tao of Fortune. After the death of the Black Spirit Sovereign, the Heavenly Tao recognized their contributions to the celestial realm. Mo Tianji realized that Night Sorrow had more Tao of Fortune than her. Let's go. Let's hurry back to the celestial realm and break this. That's the biggest benefit. I'll let you do it. Night Sorrow pointed his chin at the Tribulation origin bead in his left hand. In order to speed up, Mo Tianji grabbed Night Sorrow's arm and flew with Night Sorrow. The two of them wanted to return to the celestial realm to deal with the Tribulation origin bead. This way, they could increase the Doomsday Tao of Fortune for the last era of the celestial realm. After arriving at the stronghold, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji used the teleportation formation to teleport. At this time, the two of them didn't care who was at the spatial tunnel entrance. After exiting the spatial tunnel, Night Sorrow clasped the Tribulation origin bead in his hands and nodded at Mo Tianji. Begin. Under the surprised gazes of Lu Qi, Huang Ling, Green Rock Forefather, and the others, Mo Tianji attacked the Tribulation origin bead with her sword. After 3 strikes, the Tribulation origin bead that had left its own world was shattered by Mo Tianji. This time, the two of them received the same amount of Tao of Fortune. After the Tribulation origin bead shattered, the origin power it contained spread. However, only half of it spread. The other half was absorbed by the 9 realms origin bead in Night Sorrow's divine sea. We need to hurry back. There are probably still treasures in the spirit abyss. Mo Tianji said to Night Sorrow. 7th Elder, the leader of the Tribulation origin bead, Black Spirit Sovereign, is dead. Don't let the Black Iron Army near the spatial tunnel escape. After shouting, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji entered the spatial tunnel entrance and used the teleportation formation to continue teleporting. Enforcer Elder, what's going on? Green Rock Forefather asked. Chapter 2162. What's going on? How can a war be fought so quickly and so quickly? We're just watching the door? Long Yixing looked at Lu Qi and the others in surprise. He didn't expect this outcome. We're old. We're already old. We don't understand the world of the young. This speed is too overbearing. Methods, strategies, and strength are all indispensable. That person is very strong, Huang Ling said. She had some guesses, but since no one said anything, she didn't ask. According to Night Sorrow's orders, Azure Dragon King, Green Rock Forefather, Soul Emperor, will all enter and completely wipe out the Black Iron Army near the entrance. Then we'll wait for Night Sorrow to return, Lu Qi said. His clone and Pulua were in Black Spirit Palace. His original body was guarding here. The attack on Black Spirit Palace was also nearing its end. Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji took the teleportation array to the stronghold. Then they flew toward the Spirit Abyss. The Spirit Abyss was the core area of the Tribulation realm. It was where the origin beads were produced. There would definitely be spirit stones there. This was also why Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji hurried back. Anyone would be excited if there were treasures. Night Sorrow's original body, who was cultivating at the top of the Heaven Wasteland Tower, felt the growth of his power of merit. It was a leap in growth. He had contributed a lot to the celestial realm this time. He had prevented the 100 races of the celestial realm from being affected by the flames of war. If it wasn't for his merit cultivation reaching level 6, he would have leveled up. In the Tribulation realm, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji flew straight toward the depths of the Spirit Abyss. The forbidden reincarnation energy of the Spirit Abyss only suppressed them a little. It didn't hurt them. After 4 hours, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji arrived at the edge of the Spirit Abyss sinkhole. That bastard Black Spirit Sovereign really knows how to choose a place. The spirit chi here is really dense. Mo Tianji sighed. Let's go. There are no world origins or cultivators here. There shouldn't be anything that can threaten our safety. Night Sorrow then flew into the sinkhole. He wanted to see the bottom of the sinkhole. First Mo Tianji followed Night Sorrow into the sinkhole. The sinkhole was really deep. Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji flew for hundreds of miles before reaching the bottom of the sinkhole. The bottom of the sinkhole was filled with surging reincarnation energy and energy smoke. Such dense energy, there must be treasures at the bottom of the pit. Let's dig. Night Sorrow took out a saber that he had obtained from Lu Xing's Legion commander and started digging. Mo Tianji extravagantly took Sovereign Wu Ling's warblade and started digging. At the same time she said, "In a bit we'll open Sovereign Wu Ling's ring and split the resources. Also, what do you plan to do with Sovereign Wu Ling's corpse?" If I had killed the Black Spirit Sovereign myself, I would have placed him in the 9-domain world's heaven-sealing Great Hall, and let the world's origin energy cleanse his soul imprint. Then, I would have refined him into a puppet and thrown him into Tianhuang City to be used in battle. But Sovereign Wu Ling was killed by us together. If I did that, it would be the same as setting you up for injustice. So after we deal with him, let him stay in 9-domain world as a guard, Night Sorrow said. Thank you. Mo Tianji nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow had considered everything that he could for her. Stop being so pretentious. Let's dig. Night Sorrow said as he dug. Life without passion is lacking friends. If you want to live happily, then you have to meet the right person at the right time. Mo Tianji also started digging. Night Sorrow did not reply. He had heard of this before. He remembered that it was a bridge between a man and a woman. Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji dug very quickly. They dug out a hole in a short while. Feeling that it was dark, Mo Tianji took out a spirit stone and pinned it in her hair. That way there would be light. I've never done this before. Mo Tianji muttered as she dug behind Night Sorrow. After digging for a quarter of an hour, they saw spirit stones. They were all top-grade Saint Spirit stones. There are top-grade Saint Spirit stones at the edge, and there are Monarch Spirit stones and Emperor Spirit stones in the middle. Sovereign Wu Ling did not dig. Night Sorrow said excitedly. Mo Tianji shook her head. This is his territory. Why would he need to dig? Also, collecting spirit stones is harmful to the origin of the world. Heaven Wasteland Domain's lack of resources and spirit chi was due to the large amount of spirit stone mines. 9-domain world must not do this. You are the domain lord. You have absolute control. This matter must be controlled. I will. Later, I will give the order. The spirit stone mines of 9-domain world will all be managed by the Commander-in-Chief's residence. If you want resources, go to other dimensions and other worlds to dig. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Mo Tianji's words made sense. With a domain lord and a powerful ruler, the future of 9-domain world will be different from Heaven Wasteland Domain and Celestial Realm. The future is very good. What is blocking us now is the God-destroying tribulation. We can only talk about this after we pass it. Thinking of the future, Mo Tianji thought of the God-destroying tribulation. It was a mountain that blocked everyone's path. It was an insurmountable mountain that could not be ignored. Tianji, didn't your Demon Wing clan almost pass the God-destroying tribulation? Don't you have anything to learn? Night Sorrow asked as he dug. Learn. What's the use of knowing you can't do it? The God-destroying tribulation has high requirements for both the body and the soul. Your master, Yin Wushuang, encountered the tribulation. After his body was destroyed, the human emperor's seal protected his soul. What does this mean? It means that his body is not strong enough. The previous Demon Wing clan's demon ancestor was talented. His body was strong, but his soul was weak. In the end, his soul was destroyed. Mo Tianji told him what she knew. After hearing Mo Tianji's words, Yishang understood. The God Annihilation Tribulation tested both the soul and the body. Any flaw would result in the annihilation of the tribulation. Night Sorrow, you have high potential now. Maybe you have a chance. Work hard. Emotianji said as she dug. Night Sorrow did not say anything. Whether it was for himself, his family, or his friends, he had to work hard. As Night Sorrow and Emotianji dug, they saw supreme grade Saint Spirit Stones. After digging another 20 feet, Lord Spirit Stones appeared. Yishang dug at the front while Emotianji dug at the back, and collected the Spirit Stones at the same time. We've earned big this time. Lord Spirit Stones. I've never seen one before. Night Sorrow said emotionally. You say it as if I've seen one before. I've never seen one in the Heaven Wasteland domain. After I was born, the celestial realm was in its last reincarnation. There were no high-grade spirit stones. Where could I see one? Emotianji said as she dug. Night Sorrow and Emotianji became miners and started digging in the Lingyuan sinkhole. The battle at Black Spirit Palace was also coming to an end. Only a few people were still being chased. Chapter 2163. Alliance Master is too mean. We've only fought a few rounds. We haven't even had our fill yet. Puluel muttered. In this apocalyptic war, Night Sorrow's men only fought 2 battles. They fought the Meteor Corps and Fire Dance Corps, and it was a one-sided massacre. After muttering, Puluel arranged for people to clean up the battlefield. Black Spirit Palace was Black Spirit Supremacy's lair, so there were some good spoils of war that needed to be collected. Night Sorrow and Emotianji were at the bottom of the sinkhole, constantly digging for high-level spirit stones. Heavenly G, we've earned a lot this time. I thought there would be high-level spirit stones, but I didn't expect there to be so many of such high quality. It'll be great if a few more of these apocalyptic tribulations come. Night Sorrow was very excited. You're quite ambitious. Finding a high-level spirit stone vein already shows your heaven-defying luck. How many more do you plan on finding? How many more apocalyptic tribulations? If a tyrannical soul fusion world comes, then cry. Emotianji looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. Some things need to be thought about. Only by thinking about it can you do something. If you don't even think about it, then I don't know how to describe it. Night Sorrow didn't agree with Emotianji's words. Thinking about it. You're right. Emotianji smiled and thought about it deeply. She felt that Night Sorrow was right. Night Sorrow and Emotianji dug in the sinkhole for half a day and dug out all the spirit stones. This was a tribulation world, and the source was destroyed. The 2 of them didn't need to cherish it, so they directly dug it out. After cleaning up, the 2 left the sinkhole and the spirit abyss. Outside the spirit abyss, Night Sorrow patted his robes. Digging for spirit stones was also hard work. Emotianji also combed her hair. After being tossed around in the sinkhole for half a day, her hair was a bit messy. After the 2 cleaned up, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. Heavenly G, it's been hard on you this time. You treat me as a friend, so there's no need to be so polite. Emotianji laughed. She was truly grateful to Night Sorrow. It was not because of anything else but Night Sorrow's respect. No matter who it was in front of, Night Sorrow deliberately maintained his dignity towards her. All right, then I won't stand on ceremony. Night Sorrow smiled. That's right. After Emotianji finished speaking, she took out their gains, including the storage ring they had taken from Black Spirit Sovereign. There was a mountain of spirit stones in front of them. The 2 of them dug into the pit and gained a lot. That's a lot. You take it first. The rest is mine. I can finally replenish my resources. Night Sorrow's eyes lit up when he saw the spirit stones. What surprised Night Sorrow was that Emotianji had only taken a little. It was not even a 10th. Do you think I'm taking too little? At my current level, I mainly need to comprehend the realm. As for you, you need to support the development of the 9-domain world. The consumption of resources is relatively large. I'll just take a little. It's enough for me to get some luck from this battle. Emotianji looked at Night Sorrow and said. She knew that if she did not explain, Night Sorrow would not let it go. Take a little more. You still need high-grade spirit stones. Night Sorrow shook his head. I just took a monarch spirit stone. All right, we're friends. There's no need to be polite between friends. Just take it. If I need more, I'll look for you. When I took your Ash God Stone, I wasn't polite either. Emotianji explained. That's fine too. Knight Sorrow nodded. He sorted the spirit stones and put them away. After putting away the spirit stones, Knight Sorrow confirmed how much he had gained this time. Aside from the Saint Spirit Stones and Extreme Grade Saint Spirit Stones, there were more than 200,000 Monarch Spirit Stones, and close to 10,000 Emperor Spirit Stones. There were also more than 100 Spirit Stones that surpassed Emperor Spirit Stones. If they had to be categorized, they would be Emperor Spirit Stones. Knight Sorrow, don't take Sovereign Black Spirit's crystal core. After the 9-domain world's origin energy erases all the imprints in his body, the puppet refined will be very strong. Give him this saber too. Mo Tianji took out Sovereign Black Spirit's corpse and weapon, and handed it to Knight Sorrow. If that's the case, you'll be a laborer in this battle. It's not suitable. Knight Sorrow frowned as he looked at Mo Tianji. Resources aren't important to me. What's important is that I've gained luck after changing my identity. I've gained the approval of the heavenly Tao. Also, I've confirmed that our friendship is deep enough. Isn't that enough? Mo Tianji smiled. Knight Sorrow thought about it, and didn't say anything else. He felt that formality wasn't important. If Mo Tianji needed any help in the future, he would do his best to support her. After dealing with the resource issue, Knight Sorrow and Mo Tianji flew back to the encampment. They both knew that the tribulation world was about to become a barren world. It wouldn't be long before it turned into ashes. Its existence was just a tribulation of the celestial realm. Once the tribulation was over, it shouldn't exist anymore. When Knight Sorrow and Mo Tianji arrived near the encampment, Mo Tianji entered the Origin Enlightened Treasure Pavilion, and let Knight Sorrow fly with it. She didn't want to see other people if she didn't have to. Pu Luo and Long Jin had already returned with their men. When they dealt with the Black Spirit Palace's men, Knight Sorrow and Mo Tianji had killed Black Spirit supremacy at the same time. When Knight Sorrow and Mo Tianji were digging for spirit stones, they cleaned up the battlefield and returned to the encampment. Alliance Master, the Black Spirit Palace's men have been eliminated. Pu Luo reported to Knight Sorrow. Very good. Everyone has worked hard. My side is also very smooth. Black Spirit supremacy has been eliminated. Pu Luo, you take the 2 armies to the spatial passage and work with the 7 elders to completely eliminate the Black Iron Legion. Clean up the remaining ones as well. Misty, Great Demon King Long Jin, you take the 1st army and the God-slaying team to walk around this world. If you encounter any Tribulation Realm warriors, kill them and try your luck. Pu Luo, after you're done, take some people to explore this world. If there's any danger, crush my communication crystal. I'll be cultivating in this encampment for the time being, Knight Sorrow instructed. After listening to Knight Sorrow's arrangements, Pu Luo and the others set off with their teams. It could be said that the outcome of the Tribulation Realm had been decided. All that was left was to wrap things up. Everyone dismantled their tents and left, leaving only Knight Sorrow behind. Mo Tianji appeared soon after. Knight Sorrow also told her to return to the 9 regions world, because she needed to use this time to nurture her doppelganger. Then be careful. This is my soul crystal. If you need help, crush it and I'll rush over. With your medallion, the guards of the teleportation formations won't stop me. Mo Tianji took out a soul crystal and handed it to Knight Sorrow. After sending Mo Tianji away, Knight Sorrow took out the Clear Sky Godly Pagoda and began to cultivate. After every battle, he would learn from the strengths of others to strengthen himself. At this time in the Heavenly Wasteland City, in the Grand Elder's small space world, Emperor Tang reported the situation of the Tribulation Realm to the Grand Elder. You're tuning into the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.